333. R.I.P.P. Don P. Ph.D. Yo. I said, R.I.P. TV. Tell a homie. Mob Deep Mondays, that's everyday, thoughty. It's all for the community. That's what P showed me. We lost without the unity. Where the fuck is the OGs? R.I.P.P. God bless the real. Only for the righteous. The rest will go to hell. Flipping through the book of Revelation. Figure it out. Transliterate the translation. Do it yourself. It's the last days. Life is a test and we in a cage. Concrete jungle. Everyday struggle. Fuck the pain. I'm on some HNIC shit. A Gellion 3 shit. If you don't know what I mean, you was never G. Real shit. R.I.P. Yo, P, play that beat back, 333. Burn some weed, repeat that. Shake me up a tuka pack, break me off for 20 piece. I'm gone, never looking back. Y'all can't talk to me. R.I.P. TV, tell a homie. Mob Deep Mondays, that's everyday, thoughty. It's all for the community. That's what P showed me. We lost without the unity. Where the fuck is the OGs? Like the weed, play some IMD for me. It's hell on earth for real, but y'all don't wanna see paper trail politics. All the shit was prophecy, strictly for the family. Peace to the prodigy. R.I.P.P. I sleep when it's time for me. Dope dreams bring the skizzy, pour the Hennessy. Searching for some inner peace, couple hundred G's. Deadly weapons and some weed just for you and me. R.I.P.P. I sleep when it's time for me. Dope dreams bring the skizzy, pour the Hennessy. Searching for some inner peace, couple hundred G's. Deadly weapons and some weed just for you and me. Yo.
Yo, what up?
Yo. Good.
Chillin', man. You know what's fucking hilarious? That over 2+ years of doing YouTube streams, I never once cleaned my camera. You know how many blunts I've blown smoke directly into this camera? I cleaned it the other day. I was just like, holy shit, everything is crystal clear in here now. What the fuck? Looks like I got a new camera.
I can tell the difference.
Yeah, huge, hilarious. Blowing smoke literally right at it for years and never thought to clean it once. I'll be high, man. What the fuck?
Looking crispy.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Stepping the game up. Yo, so, man, a lot of shit been going on since the last time I seen you. So much so that I had to fly solo last week because there's just too much to talk about. I'm like, I can't skip this. There's too much going on.
Nah, that was perhaps the best week of football we've seen in quite some time.
The football was amazing, and then the aftermath following the games of coaching hires and conspiracies and ownership issues again, and just there's so much going on at the executive level right now.
Yeah,
like a lot. So lots of things to talk about before we even talk about the Superb Owl. It is Superb Owl week. It's funny because you kind of have to call it that, because if you say the actual name too much, the NFL will shut down your shit.
Really?
Yeah. And they are very militant about their censorship.
Oh, wow.
You got to be licensed, homie. So everyone calls it the Superb Owl who does streams. Hilarious. So, lots of things going on. I'm going to go with the headlines that are happening right now because I just popped them up and... Oh, see what Roger Harper sent me?
All right.
I got the game Roger Harper jersey. Fucking hype, son.
I was just about to ask you about that jersey.
Yeah, these NFL like actual game jerseys are nice as fuck, yo.
Yeah.
Now I understand why they're $200.
Yeah.
Like super nice. But yeah, shout out to the homie Roger Harper. Didn't even tell me. I just got an email that said you have a delivery from the website. I was like, I didn't order from them. And I saw Atlanta Falcons. I was like, oh, hell yes. So this will definitely be my gray matter attire for literally every show we do.
All right.
Gotta support the homie, man.
Of course.
So, Washington Commanders, Cezar Everett. Did you see this headline?
No.
Charged with involuntary manslaughter. Got into a car wreck that killed his girlfriend.
Ooh.
2 days before Christmas. See, I didn't even hear about this one.
Oh, the Commanders already under fire.
Yeah, I actually do remember this car though from this wreck. I didn't remember his name. He was
Cezar what?
Cezar Everett.
What does he play?
I have no idea. That's what I said. I don't remember him, but I remember this car. He was driving a Nissan GTR.
Okay.
And as soon as I saw that, I was just like, well, that's understandable. That's like, those are illegal in some places because they are that fast.
Oh.
Like the ones that are made in Japan, it's like an issue to get. They're illegal here. They're too fast.
Yeah.
It's a rally car.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, oh, he's probably going like 170 something when this happened, like with no problem. So, twice he was going over 90 in a 40.
I be telling people to chill out, stop going 80 in the school zone.
If it's 40, that means there's turns and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going, I mean, if you don't know how to drive professionally that level of car, you probably shouldn't be driving them. Dude, once I finally rode in a Porsche GT3, is the one Havoc used to have that 50 gave him when they signed. I never wanted to drive one ever. I just rode in it once. I was like, nope. You have to know what you're doing. It's clocked for 240. Like, come on, dude.
No, thank you.
One slip and you're dead. Like, just. So, yeah, So now let's go on to the Commanders. What do you think about this name? I hate it.
I'm unmoved. I think it's corny.
I hate it. So the nickname that the internet has given them is the Washington Commies.
Wow.
Yeah, this is what you get, you idiots. You're now branded the Commies.
Yeah. Someone said it could have been called the Washington Dukes, like after Duke Ellington. Washington Dukes.
So the Red Wolves was in play. That was the number one fan voted name, but they said that every time they tried to draw up a logo, that it matched somebody else's logo in even the slightest way, which is them trying to weasel the way out of it. They didn't really want to use that one.
Yeah.
But they ended up choosing the Commanders, which I think is stupid. So I do like the black uniform though. It looks like Arizona State. That's the only thing. Their alternate uniforms: black helmet, black uniform, maroon numbers with the gold out. It actually looks really dope, but it doesn't look like an NFL uniform.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I think it's a terrible name. So they had copyright issues with the Red Wolves, and then a couple other ones that they were trying, there were also copyright issues. So even the DC Football Club, DCFC, there's a minor league team that is already trademarked DCFC. It's a soccer team. So it's like they just kept running into roadblocks, so they just went with Commanders.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid. You know, whatever. So let's get into some executive decisions going on, because there's an awful lot of them.
Yeah.
This Brian Flores situation. All right, so you and I both know, yeah, this is par for the course. This is the old boys. That's what I texted you. Immediately I said, now he knows what it's up to go against the Billionaire Boys Club.
Oh, yeah.
You know, people started backpedaling immediately. Like, oh, no, I don't want to lose my job too. Shit. You know, so the Texans were still considering him for the head coaching job. But I think that was all just optics, because they have such bad optics down there. I think it was literally optics, because they didn't hire him anyway.
All right.
You know, a couple of head coaching hires that are questionable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll get into those. But this Flores situation, I don't think, unless it's like New England, who brings him back as a coordinator or something, I don't think he's going to get a job for a while. Because it's just like, what team is going to be like, well, he might sue us? What owner is going to want to put up with the headache? If you think it was tough for Colin Kaepernick to get a job playing in the field, this guy just tried to sue the NFL during the hiring processes. Now, I'm not saying that he's not wrong, because we all know he's exactly right. The whole thing about John Elway showing up fucking half pissed drunk and all that, guaranteed that actually happened. Guaranteed that actually happened. You know, shit like that. And then, the question that I have, do you think Belichick did that on purpose? Because how it got blown out of proportion is Belichick texted Brian Flores and said, congratulations, I heard you got the inside. And he meant to text Brian Daboll. I forgot that Daboll was on the Patriots staff for a really long time. So this is like one successful branch of Belichick's tree that they don't talk about is what Daboll's been able to do, right? So he meant to text him, but accidentally texted. Do you think Belichick did that shit on purpose? He doesn't make mistakes like that.
I know, but then what would be the end game?
Maybe Flores is one of his guys. Like, that's my guy. That's like one of his, like, small inner circle type guys. And maybe he's just like, he knows he's not going to be in the league much longer anyway, a couple more years, whatever. I could just see this as something he doesn't make mistakes like that. It's a hilarious mistake. Hilarious. It blew the lid off the whole thing.
It sure did. You saw how many people immediately jumped to his side.
So quick. So, I don't think he's going to get a job anytime soon. It'll have to be in a certain scenario like New England, who Belichick will be like, I don't give a fuck, bring him back, that's my guy.
Or Mississippi Valley State University.
If I was him, I'd go down to college somewhere. He would be excellent in an HBCU. Go do what Dion's doing.
Yeah.
You know? So, but he's such a good NFL coach, and it's hard to find quality NFL coaches that command the respect of other grown men. And he has that trait.
We'll see if another owner values that.
Exactly. Let's see. Dennis Allen, hired as the Saints coach, kind of to be expected. He was in line for that one forever.
Yeah.
That one wasn't really a surprise. So it's like, you know, this is what I don't like about the Rooney Rule and the whole the Saints were going to hire Dennis Allen guaranteed. Now, it does make it a sham and a waste of time because its intended purpose of having, say, Eric Bieniemy get in for an interview and then having those owners be like, I interviewed him. He'll be ready in a few years and getting his name in the cycle. That's what it's supposed to do. That's not what happened. Right. What happens is Eric Bieniemy goes in, gets the initial job like Byron Leftwich is getting now, the first round of interviews, and then another year goes by and he doesn't get hired, and then by a third year this goes and happens. After that, who's going to touch him? Right. It's been years of interviews and nobody's hired him, and they talked about this on the Pat McAfee show about how he's like a tainted commodity within the hiring process. Like he's already interviewed with everybody before.
But then look at Lovie Smith.
That's
getting a job out of the blue.
Who saw that one coming?
Lovie Smith.
That's why I said so many executive decisions happened this week that are really...
I didn't even recognize who he was. Like he went on some pilgrimage somewhere to gain some more knowledge.
He said he's keeping the beard too. I like it. it. Keep that beard. I mean, he was a solid coach. He took the Bears to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman as a quarterback. And honestly, had the Colts, they could have beat him if Rex wasn't as horrible as he is.
Absolutely.
If they could have got
Eli on that squad,
yeah,
they would.
You need a Brad Johnson at least.
Brad Johnson, right?
Somebody that, or who was the fucking the Ravens quarterback that got his ring?
Fucking Dilfer.
Yeah, but he did have that one long throw to Brandon Stokely that did win them a playoff game. So he did. He had his. He contributed.
He did.
And he did not turn the ball over. So.
Did not.
One, I texted you earlier as soon as I found out about it. Louis Riddick being interviewed by the Steelers. Fucking love it.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even think that was an option because I thought like the Giants would be heavy on him.
I thought so too.
And then this this Pittsburgh thing came up, I was like, that is amazing. I just hope they find a quarterback, because if they don't, they'll deem him not a good GM.
Yeah.
Like, it's his fault.
Right, even though it's not. I mean,
When everybody in the world just saw what happens when you go from even Andy Dalton, who had Pro Bowl years, to a real guy and Joey Boyband, because now you're like a Super Bowl contender because you got one of the few. Everybody thinks that Zach Taylor's a fucking genius now. The guy won 4 games his first 2 years.
and Andy Dalton could win one playoff game.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Couldn't. And those Bengals teams with Mark...
A. Green. I mean, you had...
Chad Johnston.
Oh, yeah. The defense was crazy at one point.
That's what Pac-Man and Vontez Burfict and all them were destroying people. They were loaded. But they also
Dunlap.
happened to be in the AFC during the Tom Brady era, which nobody gets to. And they had to go through Big Ben, which they could never get over that hump. But Louis Riddick, I hope it works out. Because him and Tomlin's not even 50 yet, I don't think. So, and Kevin Colbert has been
this year.
Kevin Colbert has been the GM in Pittsburgh for 22 seasons. You know, Pittsburgh doesn't like to, they don't change.
Right.
So he's going to get a shot there, and it will be an extended shot. It won't be 1-2 years or whatever. They'll ride out. But good, I hope it works out.
And you know there'll be a team of tough guys.
Oh, my God, yes. I like it because Pittsburgh's supposed to be like that.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be defense and run the ball. I don't care what the NFL is. That's Pittsburgh. They're supposed to do that. Just get over it. Run the ball. Play defense. So the Titans have extended Vrabel and their GM Robinson, which makes sense. They've had nothing but success. So Joe Judge returns to the Patriots staff. Quarterback coach.
Is that official?
Yep.
I just heard they were looking.
Yep, quarterback coach. That makes sense. You know, that always happens with New England assistants. They go get head coaching jobs, they fail, and then outside of Romeo Crennel and Charlie Weiss, they all end up back in New England. Like Matt Patricia, welcome back, buddy. Yeah, it didn't work. Welcome back. Come on. Bill O'Brien, rumored to be coming back as OC now that McDaniels is gone. Joe Judge back as offensive assistant. It just happens. Brian Flores, I can see totally going back. So, another hire. McDaniels finally...
What though?
Finally, I don't know. Finally leaves some linebacker coach. I don't know. Start working your way up again. Because I think Gerard Mayo is still on New England's staff, but he won't be there for long because he's going to get a coordinator gig somewhere.
Well, they were looking at him for head coaching gigs.
Yeah,
Places.
highly respected in the locker room. Bill Belichick has loved that. He said, coach on the field from day one. Coach on the field. So McDaniels finally exits New England.
Yeah.
Probably ready to be a head coach this time. He even said in his interview he was 32 years old, was not ready for it, was not ready to command the respect necessary to be a head coach. Just tried to come in and just, you see these rings? You want these? Do what I say. And that didn't work. Plus, you guys drafted Tim Tebow.
I was about to say they drafted Timmy Teebs.
I mean, they did get a playoff dub that first year, but after that, it was... So,
Rest in peace to Mario. What was his name?
Demaryius Thomas.
Marius.
Yeah.
Marius Thomas.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, Tim Tebow threw a touchdown pass. No, he handed the ball off 3 yards away to Demaryius Thomas, and he ran through Pittsburgh's defense.
Basically.
And didn't even know that they won the game because he didn't understand the new time. That was the first year, the new overtime. If you score a touchdown, game's over.
Yeah.
So Josh McDaniels goes to the Raiders.
Yeah.
I think it may work.
He seems to be stoked on Carr.
Well, Derek Carr gets to stay in, Vegas, which we didn't even think was going to be a thing.
Yeah.
I think if you run New England's offense, with Derek Carr, but also utilize the fact that Derek Carr will push the ball down the field, and they are the Raiders, you're going to have speed on the team. I think it will work. I mean, look what their team just went through, and they still made the playoffs. So there is a solid base there. And that dude, Max Crosby, is defensive player of the year coming in the next couple of seasons, probably.
Yeah, he's a baller. And they got good safety, Abram. I like that kid, Abram.
You know, so their special teams, they have one of the best punters and kickers in the league. So,
They did lose speed when they lost Ruggs.
So you lose Football Rich, who goes from temporary head coach, who is now the special teams coordinator in Green Bay. Which makes sense because Vegas had one of the best special teams units in the league, and Green Bay literally had the worst. Literally the worst. You guys lost a playoff game because of this shit.
Yeah, pretty bad.
San Francisco couldn't score on you, and you lost a playoff game because of it. So lots of carousels going on. One thing that I could not wait to talk about that has crept its way into the headlines.
Oh boy, he's smirking. I don't know.
Old Tom's got the itch.
Yeah.
He's already got the itch. I see he spent a week at home with the kids, and Giselle was just like, no, I got to go back. So I think why this is even a thing, his retirement announcement, that was not supposed to happen that way. So the man in the arena, the last episode that hasn't aired, is his retirement announcement. He had the whole thing planned out, and then Jeff Darlington and Adam Schefter fucking leaked it, that he was retiring. He didn't want to announce it until after the Super Bowl because he didn't want anything to be about him. He wanted it to be about the game and all this shit. So, since Tom is Tom, I think there's a distinct possibility that he would go back to San Francisco for one season just to spite these assholes. And win a Super Bowl for the hometown team. Now, it could happen. That roster is loaded. They are a real quarterback away from a Super Bowl victory and probably another Super Bowl appearance this year.
They are.
So, and they know it. And Trey Lance can sit for another year behind Tom Brady. Shut up, Trey Lance. It's fucking Tom Brady. Dude just led the NFL in completions, attempts, and touchdowns. It's not like he fell off at all.
No.
So,
jeez.
Fourth most in NFL history at 44 years old. And Gronk will follow him.
Kittles and Gronk on the same team would be.
In a very weak-ass NFC, too.
Unlike anything we've seen.
Yeah. It would be what Aaron Hernandez and Gronk were supposed to be.
I didn't even want to say it, but yeah. Right.
And they both block so well. Oh, my God. And you would never know if they're running or it's just nightmares. Because Hernandez didn't block like Kittle does.
No.
At all. And then you'd have Debo to play with. Like, yeah, whatever. Like, solid offensive line, great defense. They'd win a Super Bowl. They'd win a Super Bowl because he wouldn't have to.
Jawan Williams.
Yeah.
The other receiver, 15. He could block. He's a big receiver.
And then you
catches.
You guaranteed that there'd be another receiver, say Chris Godwin, who's possibly a free agent, who'd be like, I'm gonna go over there for a year, prove it that my knee is healthy, go win another chip, then go get a big deal somewhere.
Get to play with Debo. Yeah.
Be very dangerous. He goes over there. Like I said, the NFC only has the Rams right now.
Yeah, because Cardinals are folding.
Fold apart. We'll get to that. So, Aaron Rodgers seen buying property in Tennessee. Mike Vrabel comes out and says Ryan Tannehill's our quarterback. I don't care. We're not entertaining none of this bullshit. Mike Vrabel, you are a good quarterback away from being in the Super Bowl, homie. 4 turnovers, and all of them were his fault. 3 picks and 1 horrible QB sneak on 4th and 1 on an RPO. When you got Derrick Henry. So stupid.
Derrick Henry and Deontay Foreman were getting busy, especially Foreman. They had him.
So stupid. So, we'll see how that goes. I could see him, go to Tennessee. That's a Super Bowl contender already.
and you're not following behind Tom in Tampa, which I think is a real thing.
It is a thing.
No reason why he won't do it.
That is a thing. Why would you do that? You got to go write your own narrative. So, speaking of the Tampa Bay job, you know who was being considered as the Tampa QB? Famous Jameis coming back.
Ooh.
It would make sense.
It would.
5,000. Yeah, 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns in that system. He already knows it.
Yeah.
He also proved that he improved in taking care of the football under Sean Payton and Drew Brees and with LASIK eye surgery. So it would work. It wouldn't be expensive either. It helped that cap issue. I could see that one happening.
That'd be really interesting.
So Byron Leftwich, rumored to be, basically had the Jacksonville job, had a 9-hour interview. Turned it down. Supposedly, Shad Khan is asking head coaching candidates in the meeting, what do they think about Trent Baalke while Baalke is in the room? So clearly he's married at the hip to Trent Baalke, who's terrible. He's such a horrible. He sucked in San Francisco. He sucked in Jacksonville since he's been there. He's terrible. Clearly he's got something with that guy. That's like, and he's like hitching his wagon to him for some reason. So Byron Leftwich said, "I want Adrian Phillips, who is, or Adrian Wilson, or is it Phillips or Wilson? It's Phillips. Wilson's still playing. Yeah, old safety. It's Phillips. So he's the head of player personnel in Arizona, I think. And Byron Leftwich.
Adrian Wilson.
Wilson then, and he said he wanted him as his GM, and he was just like, "That's like Trent Baalke or nobody." So Byron Leftwich said, "Fuck this shit." Good for you, Byron Leftwich. Don't take a head coaching job just because it's a head coaching job. Don't do it. You've seen so many coordinators do that and go to a bad situation, and then they don't get a head coaching gig ever again. So now they're hiring. Who are they? The Bucks called. Who's this Caldwell guy? Mike Caldwell as their defensive coordinator. Who did they hire as their head coach?
Oh no.
I'm gonna have to look it up because it's Jacksonville. I don't fucking care.
Oh, Peterson.
Oh yeah, Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
Interesting hire. Interesting. Maybe they're thinking that it's like Trevor Lawrence development.
Yep, that's exactly what they're thinking.
I can see that. I don't know. You're seeing the need for a quality GM in modern day NFL.
Big time.
Like, it's really showing itself more than it ever has before. I mean, look what Tampa was able to do with their salary cap, bringing everybody back. You know, just there's teams that have it figured out how modern day NFL football works, and teams that don't.
I mean, look at the guy Sashi Brown, who was the GM for the Browns, and then he bounced. I mean, he got great roster pickups, and now he's with the Ravens.
Yeah.
So,
and they had Ozzie Newsome forever, and Ozzie Newsome was incredible.
right.
I mean, that guy won.
I'm going to be looking for some very interesting moves coming out of Baltimore with Sashi there now. You're going to see some interesting pickups.
You will, because the team is still built around Lamar, so you have to build, including the defense, has to be built around just one person. Backup QBs included. Everything is tailored to what you have built. Because it's been semi-successful, but you're not getting over the playoff hump. And being first round of the playoffs 3-4 years in a row doesn't mean shit. At all. That third and fourth year, they're like, this is it. We reached our ceiling.
Got to go to the AFC Championship game.
You have to keep advanced, like Buffalo's doing right now. Buffalo, you can see they can't, even though they didn't make the AFC title game this year, they very easily could have. And I believe if they would have went to the AFC title game, they might be in the fucking Super Bowl right now. Could be. I don't know. There's that guy, man. That guy, and he looks like he's the next guy that just fucking wins it.
That's my guy.
He just wins at life.
That's my guy.
Just wins at life, dude. Oh, hilarious headline that they were talking about. This is what happens when he's already a mythical legend.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
This headline was talking about his bedroom skill set.
Oh, my God.
And how he's like just slaying hoes. I was just like, this guy he's a legend already. This is hilarious. How is this a fucking headline?
Slaying.
Basically.
All right.
I mean, this is like, he's the football Derek Jeter. That's who he's going to be.
He could be.
He should play that role.
Single man, don't get married until you're done.
Yeah, just be you, dude. Keep wearing cool. His hair's always perfect, even when he takes his helmet off. He wins at life. He's that next guy.
Doing his thing.
And I think Tom Brady.
Get an offensive line to protect his ass.
I think
he ain't gonna last too long.
I think there's part of Tom that keeps hearing everybody say this is the next Tom Brady, and looks at it like I ain't done. Like, that's the same type of thing when people would talk about Kobe around Mike.
I just wouldn't want him to come back.
There's no reason to come back, Gary, at all.
You know what I mean? Like, let's not get into, like, Favre territory.
There's absolutely no reason. Even if he goes and wins another Super Bowl somewhere, it doesn't fucking matter. There's no reason to come back. You went out, storming back, 24 points to tie a game. Your defense lost it. You led the league in every statistical category. There's nowhere to go except down.
Yeah.
Even, like I said, after winning that Super Bowl in Tampa on the first year, there's nothing else you can do. Go undefeated, and that's impossible because the NFL is going to keep extending the season. It's impossible. It's fucking impossible. So, there's nothing left to prove, dude. Nothing. I don't want to see... You could look at Tom and say, that guy can play at least probably 2 more years at a high level. Before you maybe in 2 years, you'd start to see, like, all right, he's 46 now. Jesus, it's not Otto Graham.
Yeah.
But he could. Nobody gets rid of the ball quicker. He doesn't take hits. Except that one that got him fucking bloody lip in the playoff game.
He's looking real old then.
Yeah, he was, but I think that last fourth quarter of doing Tom things, storming back when it looked like it was impossible. That touchdown to Mike Evans over top of the best corner in football was a perfect throw when you needed it. It's Tom. There's nothing else to do, dude. There's nothing else to do. Don't come back and like Willie Mays it. Don't drop balls in the outfield.
Come on. That hurt.
I mean, that's the best example that everybody has. You don't want to be like, oh, don't.
The World Series.
Yeah, but all the other examples are boxers who hang around too long and just get their face beat in.
And we have Willie Mays maybe just even 2 years prior to that. They win that 73 World Series.
Speaking of boxing, side note, Keith Thurman is back in the ring and just beat the shit out of somebody. Yeah, that's my guy.
Okay.
That's my guy. Good to see him back. So, what else has been going on? Did the Jets make the right move in drafting Zach Wilson? Probably not. I was watching some BYU footage. Was not impressed with what he was doing out there.
He also had grown-ass men blocking for him who had gone off on their pilgrimage and came back and were playing college football at 24, 25, 26 years old, being offensive linemen, going up against 18, 19-year-olds. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's
the world back there.
We always had the, Alabama quarterback theory of they just had the best athletes around them. It makes them look better than they are. This guy had grown men as linemen. BYU quarterbacks always play well. Mm-hmm. They always do. Yeah, he has arm talent galore. Like, he's got a rocket, but who cares? We've seen that a trillion times.
Exactly.
if Joe Burrow isn't the glaring example of that part that you need to be a quarterback, that thing that he has, where everybody's just like, I'm following him.
Because from what I've seen, Ty Detmer is a way better quarterback than Zach Wilson could ever even hope to be.
Yeah. There's been a...
He saw what Ty Detmer was. Ty Detmer he turned out to be a decent backup in the league.
Yeah, it's just, people fall in love with that arm talent.
Yeah, I know.
It's just like, that one throw in his pro day, they got everybody. Even I was like, oh, okay.
You got YouTube on. That's great.
Yeah, so, Kerry, my question is how many times in an NFL season are you required to complete that throw?
Right. Hail Marys.
Twice?
At the end of a half end of a game. Come on.
I mean, we see Patrick Mahomes do shit like that all the time, but it's usually only a couple times a year when it's a throw like that. It's not like every fucking game.
It's like and a special talent like him.
Aaron Rodgers, you think of all these amazing throws, but it's like one a season. He's just played for 18 years.
Right.
You think about those I give him that one season he had like fucking Hail Marys in like 3 straight games, which was stupid. But everything else, the throw against the Cowboys on the sideline, that was like fucking, these are all singular events, just you always remember those ones. Mm-hmm. With Tom, you don't even remember singular throws, it's drives. It's whole drives. Like Aaron Rodgers is just like Hail Marys.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, like with Tom, you remember the throws that were dropped.
Exactly. Like, shit. Welker, the Hail Mary gets the Giants. The Gronk was about this far away from catching off the tip.
Well, I will say the one catch I do remember is the Edelman catch.
Yeah, well, that was more Edelman catching it than Tom's throw.
Than Tom's throw, yeah.
Even the first, the Super Bowl against Randy Moss. That Hail Mary up the sideline. Randy Moss had it.
Mary, I know.
He had it. It was there.
Yeah.
It was there when I saw it. I was like, oh, this is how they do it. This is how they do it. Moss and then
amazing.
Vinatieri, game's over, we win again.
I mean, a fingertip away. I know.
So close. Oh, so close. So close. Let's see. All right. I'm sure there's more. Yeah, Lovie Smith. Good for him. That was, like you said, that was so fucking random. Josh McCown is going to be the head coach in the Texans. Not yet, but soon. He's never coached even high school.
I know that's just weird. I like, you know what I'm saying, like, but he was a backup quarterback for a long time. You know why? Because people liked him. So he knows the right people. Apparently, obviously.
Jack Easterby.
Yeah. I mean, he goes to the right banquets.
Interesting that they swing wildly and go for Lovey as the head coach.
That was...
And Lovey doing that knowing that they have this McCown plan in play. But again, how many head coaching gigs how many times does an offer come up?
And this will be Lovey's third team.
So you're looking like Motor City Dan Campbell.
A super rarity.
Like nobody wants to...
Black head coach.
Nobody wants to take the Lions job if you have other offers. You're not going to pick the Lions job, but somebody like Motor City Dan Campbell wasn't going to get a head coaching offer from anybody else but that team. He took it and ran with it even though they only won 3 games.
Yeah.
Everybody knows, well, that guy can coach.
Yeah.
They were in every single game except like 2.
They played for him, you know?
They could have easily had like 6 or 7 wins.
Yeah.
So it's just like, all right, if it doesn't work out in Detroit, which it inevitably won't, bad ownership, he's going to get a gig somewhere else. They're going to be like, well, now that guy can play. He can coach. Just like Brian Flores. Like, if he wouldn't have done that, he was going to get another head coaching gig because he was like at the top of the list in the cycle. He had already made it to that, and he was successful in Miami, and that's a bad team.
Yeah. With idiotic ownership.
You see what Stephen Ross is doing. Like, you see the stuff they're doing down there.
Yeah, they idiot.
So dumb. So let's talk about that now. Couldn't wait to talk about this. $100,000 a game to blow a game. Brian Flores says, "Fuck you, I'm here to win," and they go out and win games, and he's just like, "Oh, we gotta fire this guy. We're trying to get draft picks and build a team." The Miami is run like the Clippers used to be run.
Yeah.
You know, they make money, so it's just like, all right, whatever, we're rich. You guys suck, though.
Hey,
Miami's like a destination spot. You're supposed to be good at football. That's one of the best home field advantages in...
so many fair weather fans down there. So many.
Oh, speaking of Miami, something that I just learned is Miami University is, with this whole NIL thing, and the fact that you can like spend bread to get, they have hired all. I should pull up the list. I didn't even think about it because we don't really talk about college football, but all like huge name coordinators. They're building all new facilities. Yeah, they're like going in. They brought in Ray Lewis. Is involved, and Ed Reed is director of like player relationships or something like that. They're like bringing in former all-time greats to like build the U back up, which is awesome. Miami is supposed to be good at college football.
Yeah.
So imagine if Miami turns it around and then starts to actually keep Southern Florida talent at Miami.
That'd be you. It's like my alma mater, U of H. The better we play, and we kept playing well, the more we keep our inner city talent.
There's a lot
that goes to A&M, goes to Oklahoma, goes to Florida. Like they just leave and go and make all these other schools better. The inner city's talent stays in Houston. Shit, man.
There's a lot of coke money in Miami, dude. You can get anybody to go there now. That you can pay these people.
A lot of lean money in H-Town. That's that lean, baby.
So speaking of,
What you know about that drink?
The new money in college football, Texas A&M has the number one recruiting class in football this year. They have also secured $35 million worth of deals for their recruiting class. You see how much money these kids are making to go to these colleges now?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's complaining. They're like, you bought this class. Well, these are the rules. Don't complain because Belichick is bending the rules to the extreme and winning.
And in Texas, they're going to have that money. They're going to have that oil money. They're going to have that farming money, where there is a lot of money in farming.
So I can see...
I don't know if people know how much money there is in farming. There is a ton.
So you have Texas moving to the SEC, and they're going to have an unlimited amount of funding, right?
Because now you've got even the tech sector out in Austin.
Well, you also have the kids who want to go play in the SEC that would be like back up at Alabama and go start at Texas. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's Texas. You're going to get looked at.
That's
it's fucking Texas.
Keeping Texas talent in Texas.
Huge.
It's not really the toughest thing to do.
So you look at like West Virginia, who has to go to other states to get talent.
Right.
You know, Ohio can keep in-state. Ohio State's always fed by the Ohio fucking line. You know, Pennsylvania, any school in Pennsylvania is getting Pennsylvania kids.
Mm-hmm.
Florida, you just keep them down there. When Florida State was good, Florida was good, Miami was good, you kept all the talent. Now that talent is going to the SEC.
Right.
And if you can keep them there and keep Texas kids in Texas, and now you look at Oklahoma also, who has oil money, and Oklahoma is the weed industrial capital of America.
Mm-hmm.
So they make all the oils and solvents and everything for all the industry in weed, all done in Oklahoma.
Get that sound?
Blowing up out there. So much money. So they're also going to the SEC. They always purge northern Texas.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to... You'll get the Nebraska kids who want to go to the Oklahoma now because you get to go... The ability to be showcased in the SEC gets you shots in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
So there's going to be a ripple effect, which hopefully will bring a little bit of parity. Alabama won't have fucking 85 NFL first, second, and third rounders on their roster every fucking year. You know, you don't have to have somebody like...
So you see, like, schools like Georgia and Clemson find ways to recruit and keep their guys in, so they've been playing with Alabama this whole time.
So you get Clemson that is close enough to the South to go down to Florida easily.
Yeah.
But they also are going to get everybody in South Carolina because South Carolina's not any good, and everyone in North Carolina too.
Yeah.
You know, you get that whole upper area there, then into Virginia, because there's no... Virginia Tech's not good anymore.
I know.
You know, Kentucky's not any good. Tennessee's not any good.
But the Tar Heels have been making some noise lately.
They have.
And so has Wake Forest.
Yeah.
So you get a little pushback on those North Carolina schools.
It's interesting. $35 million for one recruiting class, though. They better win a fucking national title, though, with all that money.
Yeah, you better. Yeah. You better bring her home, buddy.
Imagine if they do, though. Everybody's just starts fucking buying teams.
I mean, that's what they did with recruits back in the day. All I gotta do is bring up Tony Dorsett, the Pony Express.
100%. 100%. So
I said Tony Dorsett. I meant to say Eric Dickerson.
Eric Dickerson is
Eric Dickerson.
SMU.
Craig James, the Pony Express. SMU.
So the Dolphins jettison Brian Flores.
Yeah.
They probably interviewed Leftwich for posterity. Bieniemy too. And then who else? How many white guys they interviewed? And then they end up settling on 49ers offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel as their new head coach. Interesting to always see, like, McVay. McVay made it to an NFC title game and a Super Bowl, and he did it quick. He's young. He's innovative. Anybody on his staff got jobs. Zach Taylor got a job, now successful because he got Joey Boy Band making you look good. Matt LaFleur got a job. You know, and Matt LaFleur especially, you got Aaron Rodgers, makes it easy. It makes it easy to win when you got A-Rod.
Kick a field goal instead of going for the touchdown.
You know, especially in the NFC North where all the other teams are trash. Makes it easy up there. So this is the new thing because Shanahan, his coaching tree is... He gets people out because McVay was underneath Shanahan.
Yeah.
So it's just like this new run. And it's funny because they're all kind of the same. Kingsbury, too, is kind of like in that group, even though we don't know how long he's going to have a job.
Yeah, but Kingsbury, he was at Texas Tech.
And then USC for like
USC.
like 4 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Then all of a sudden into the pro.
Well, see, why he gets tied into it, because they were like, oh, he's the next McVay. Look at him. Look at that offense at Texas Tech. Well, he had fucking Patrick.
Right.
He had Patrick.
Mahomes.
Yeah, now you see when you had that guy in college.
Yeah.
And
Made a difference.
you had the Mike Leach Texas Tech fucking run and shoot shit for decades there anyway, so they were always putting up just numbers.
Saw a game where Mahomes put up, it was like 773 passing yards. It was like ridiculous. They put over 1,000 yards of offense.
He had 10 touchdowns, something stupid.
It was some. I was like, yo, what am I watching right now?
And they lost.
And they lost. I was like, this kid's gonna get drafted, but he's gonna cut back on the turnovers. But this kid has an arm. He's crazy.
Yeah, he landed in the perfect spot to utilize that ability and that rawness instead of trying to control it, just use it.
Yep.
And then it got to the point where they started to rely on it, and that wasn't something you're supposed to rely on. You know, it's like Michael Vick would say, he wished he would have thrown more earlier, But it's just he was so fast. It was just like, how could you not run? It's there. Like, what do you? I'm the fastest player. He literally said it. He's like, I'm like the fastest player in the NFL. There was no, and I wanted yards. I was young. I'm stupid.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I saw it. I'm taking it. It's mine. He's like, but when I got to Philadelphia, it was all about underneath of Andy Reid. Andy Reid embraced his arm talent. Like, no, do you see that? Why are you not throwing the ball?
Mm-hmm.
And stop getting hit, stupid. Like, you're gonna die out here.
Because Vic had a. People don't realize how much of an arm he had.
He had the most impressive arm in the NFL while he was playing. You cannot convince me otherwise. It was
And he could throw with both.
absolutely effortless.
Yeah.
It was straight lines up to 40 yards with no problem. He had a great deep ball, like great touch. And he threw a football out of a fucking stadium, people. This really happened.
He was like, wow, people knew about Algie Crumpler.
Yeah.
And while Mike Vick was with him, he was one of the best tight ends in the league.
See how that happens?
Great.
What's the light-skinned dude that was with oh fuck. He's bounced around so many teams, I don't even know who he plays for now. He's with the Seahawks. He was with the Saints and was successful because you had Drew Brees throwing it to you.
Oh yeah. And he's with the Bears now.
Yeah.
See his face right now too.
He flies helicopters. I know, like, I just can't remember his name, but him, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks always make tight ends look great.
Right.
It's just every once in a while you'll have a tight end. Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
Every once in a while you'll have a tight end that can make a quarterback look good, like Mark Andrews. You just Travis Kelce, Jesus.
Yeah.
Gronk making absolutely retarded contested catches.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, there's also a caveat to that because when you have Gronk, you'll throw it into that coverage. Hey, whatever, he'll go get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so Gonzalez from the Chiefs and
Tony
Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Jason Witten made Tony Romo bailed him out for a decade straight.
You could not stop him on third down.
It was impossible. Yeah.
He was the slowest man on earth. It didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
Where he was going, it didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
And Tony was an accurate quarterback, so he's getting it to his hands. Here you go. Take that. There was another one. Fuck. Peyton Manning's tied. Dallas Clark.
Oh, Dallas Clark, yeah.
1 billion third downs to Dallas Clark.
Yeah.
Fluttery wins too.
Yeah. Well, Dallas Clark had some ill hands and was quick.
And
Quick.
the last of the no-glove warriors.
Yeah. I like Dallas Clark. It was good. Ben was Ken Diggler, Dirk Diggler before that. Yeah.
Dallas Clark could eventually end up in the Hall of Fame. Probably not.
Yeah, because he was hurt there for a while.
And a lot of if I was...
He had the skill set, though.
If I look at it as a voter, I'd be like, well, you're also with a team that throws 4,000 yards, a quarterback that throws 4,500 yards a season. It's a lot of volume. And there's other tight ends that were...
I feel like he was right before... He was like that era right before the tight ends really, really started to blow up.
Yeah.
He was like... So, like, he was he was kind of paving the way. For this new wave of tight ends really getting a lot of yards. He was one of the ones.
Yeah, he was like Jay Novacek and that era of tight end.
Right.
He was like the young guy when they were all done.
Yeah.
The last holdover from that era who just kind of fell into the other one.
Right.
Colts Hall of Fame. He should be in the Ring of Honor.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
He should be in the Ring of Honor. Funny high side note, Marshall Faulk was on the Pat McAfee show today and was salty as fuck.
Why?
Because the Colts traded him.
Oh.
He's still mad about that shit. He was so mad.
It'd be different if Peyton won a chip and Marshall didn't. But Marshall won.
That's what everybody said. Like, oh, you went to St. Louis, were part of a nickname offense that will be remembered forever.
Like, you came down like a legendary football posse. You know what I mean?
You are in the Hall of Fame. Edge is in the Hall of Fame. Y'all both won titles. But he was mad because they traded him because apparently Irsay said that they didn't feel like they could win a Super Bowl with him with the offense based around Marshall Faulk. That he had to base it around Peyton Manning instead. And then they immediately drafted Andrew James in the first round.
And based it around him.
I don't think they actually intended to base it around Andrew and James. I just think when they got to camp, they were just like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, they saw what a monster he was. They said how he just outworked everybody. Everybody had this perception of him. They didn't realize he was first in, last out.
Literally last out. There are stories of him running wind sprints, gassers on the field at like 4 a.m. by himself with the lights out. Just, that's why he ended up in the Hall of Fame. From, what did he say, from gold teeth to gold jackets.
One of my favorite things I've ever heard in my life.
Awesome. Awesome. And Jim Irsay in the the Hall of Fame parade, you can hear the audio clip of Jim Irsay saying to Edge, man, I'll buy you any car you want for this. He said, you want a Bentley, a Ferrari, a Rolls Royce, you name it.
What?
Yeah, Jim Irsay is dope, man. That's dope.
Just as a gift?
Yeah, for making it to the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And he said, literally, he said it was kind of like, you know, old rich white guy racism.
Like, you pill popping son of a bitch.
No, because he was just like,
Bentley.
yeah, he was just like, I forget which car he said. He's like, I know you'll probably want like this. You wouldn't want a Rolls Royce or
like
something.
A Cadillac.
Yeah.
You probably want a lac.
It was something like that, like old man backhanded racism. That
you probably won't be sitting on 24s, right?
That's not intended to be racist, but is because of who he's just old and rich. Like, get over it. But it was hilarious though, because Edge was just like, "Well, you don't think I'll get a Rolls Royce?"
Exactly. Get a Bentley on you, bitch.
Hilarious. I'd be like, I'm getting the most expensive car that exists. Like a $10 million Bugatti or something. Yeah, this whole Mike McDaniels thing, this isn't going to work. Miami's a bad team already. This guy...
I didn't even know who that was.
OC in San Francisco. That's what I'm saying. He got a head coaching gig?
Didn't even know who that was.
Do people look at him and be like, oh, see, if you got him a real quarterback.
Right.
See, that'd be another hilarious caveat, and Tom shitting on Jimmy G and Bill Belichick if Tom goes to San Francisco and wins the title that Jimmy G couldn't, because Jimmy G was supposed to be his heir apparent, and then Tom won 3 Super Bowls anyway after they kicked him out. That's another reason I could see Tom doing this. Like, I'm going to go shit on Bill. I'm going to go win the one that his guy couldn't. I hope it happens so much. I hope it happens.
So where does Jimmy G go from here? Cleveland?
Pittsburgh's a possibility.
What would you choose, Pittsburgh or Cleveland?
If I'm him, I go to Cleveland.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Fully loaded roster with the best run game in football. Yeah. They're not going to expect too much of you.
That's what I'm saying, Cleveland.
You've got Jarvis Landry, who could be your safety valve. You got Gesicki. They need a real running back. I'm thinking of Miami.
Yeah,
I'm high.
Now you have Hooper.
You got Hooper and Njoku, and then you got Landry's the safety valve. I've thought about his fucking Miami days. I went off on his Miami days. That's where I went with that one. You have Landry, who is your safety valve. Then you've got younger talent, Higgins.
You got Peoples-Jones,
who emerged this year.
Schwartz, who's fast as fuck.
Schwartz, solid offensive line.
Yep.
And
most definitely.
That team is already built around not asking the quarterback to win you games.
Yes. And he understands this.
Yeah.
Jimmy does.
And honestly, he does win games. He wins games if you don't make it about him, which in Cleveland it wouldn't have to be. You got these two guys. Make it about these two guys.
Yep. I think he would find success in Cleveland. And I think Cleveland would find success with him, to be honest.
Yeah, they just get back into the playoffs. That's already a win after fucking not making it with Baker.
Yeah.
You know, there's also Russ is still out on the board somewhere. That's intriguing. Aaron Rodgers is still floating around because Tennessee says no.
Russ in Cleveland, no.
No.
I don't see it.
I can see Russ for the Commanders. I told you the G-men, but that's
Unless
not.
it's the G's, I don't want to hear him being in the NFC East.
I told you it should be the G's, but I don't see that happening with them
I know.
giving the vote of confidence to Danny Dumbles.
Down on Danny Dum Dum.
No, I told you his new name is Danny Dumbles. We have to incorporate his stupid decision making and his fumble ability. That shit is like a 98 on Madden fumbles.
I mean, Russell Wilson, whatever this giant way, the giant character you love to bring in, he is the epitome of that and then some.
Yeah, it just fits. It makes so much sense.
It makes sense. That's just dumb.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Tannehill is looking like he's staying there. So that is out of the mix now. That's a big spot, too. So...
But if you want to teach a franchise how to win, go with a winner.
I mean...
Dum Dum can't teach you how to win. You have to teach him.
I think...
Who's done it?
I think Russ in Tennessee would be crazy. Because...
That would be amazing. That'd be amazing in Tennessee.
The RPO is that you could run with those two running backs now, and then... Russ's deep ball was better than anybody else in the league, so just chuck it up to A.J. Brown. One-on-one, just throw it to him. He's going to out-physical everybody.
Yeah. And this, the Whitehead, what's Arcegio, what's his name?
Yeah, Arteaga Whiteside.
Yeah, that one. He looked like he was trying to emerge.
He was towards the end.
On defense, you get your young rookie who who blew his knee out, who's good though. See what happens. See what he looks like next year. You still got you secured your head coach and the GM, so there's stability.
Yeah,
which is key. Yeah.
Memphis and Tennessee as a
They
whole.
tight end. They just need a tight end. They need a tight end.
Well, the city itself and the state are blowing up.
Yeah.
So I can see, that being a possible destination for them. Interesting. Russ is such a big piece of the puzzle. I just can't see him going back to Seattle at all.
Nah.
And it's just like...
If I'm a tight end, no, I'm looking at that situation like, this could be something. Like, look at Uzama. Uzama just emerged. Nobody was thinking Uzama was all that. And that motherfucker emerged.
Tight end's always a quarterback's best friend.
Yeah, we know that.
Especially in Cincinnati where you're getting double coverage guaranteed on Chase. The safety is rolling over. You have to. He will burn somebody one-on-one. You have to. And then that means T. Higgins is 6'5" and one-on-one. And you see T. Higgins accept the role of, I will also go across the middle.
Yeah.
And then...
He knows it's going to be open.
And then you got Joe Mixon also, which occupies your linebacker focus. So now you have your tight end is going to have a lot of scenarios where he's got leverage and open spaces.
And you got one of the best slot receivers in the league.
So they are absolutely loaded. So speaking of them, what happens in college football? This is why Joe Burrow is so different. Justin Herbert's different because he's so gifted. Like, he's just gifted, right? Burrow has, he's going to win titles. You can already tell it's going to happen. He's like that guy. Justin Herbert is just so physically gifted. It's astounding, right? What happens in college now is these quarterbacks, they don't call plays at the line of scrimmage. They're not reading defenses. They're not even in the huddle. They're looking at the sideline, and there's, 4 giant cards with a tiger face. And
ciphering, yeah.
And then they say one word, right? And then that's like the whole offense is looking over linemen and everybody. The NFL, that shit don't happen. The quarterback, you have to command this. So there's always like that, can this quarterback handle a John Gruden offense where you have 48 words per play call? Right?
Y banana, X, Y banana.
So it becomes scheme, which is happening with these younger coaches.
Right.
Scheme versus coaching. And
nature versus nurture.
So and these coaches have egos, so they want their scheme to be the reason that they win something. So they're going to try to, they're like running plays because they think the scheme is going to win. Well, you know what makes Joe Burrow different? He gets to the line of scrimmage. Oh, one-on-one? Yeah, fuck everything else. I'm going to him. I don't care. So this is what Troy Aikman said a couple weeks ago. He said that it was watching the San Francisco game. No, it was Dallas, actually. He said if they would have been covering Michael Irvin one-on-one in the first half like they were with Amari Cooper the entire game, he said Michael Irvin would have had 20 attempts going his way and probably would have had 200 yards because I would have just kept going until they stopped us. He said now they just try to out-scheme everything. They don't care if this guy's one-on-one. No, this is the scheme that we're running. Joe Burrow don't give a fuck. One-on-one, you're getting the fucking ball. Tom Brady, whoever is open. It's whoever. You see the younger quarterbacks.
Yeah, but Joey B also, he hit T. Higgins a lot because he saw how they were doubling Chase. So he was like, yeah. All right.
Exactly, because the one-on-one now.
Here we go, T.
That's what I'm saying. The one-on-one now became T versus a second corner. And he's going to eat that. So he just bang, 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 and killed it. This is why he's good. I'm telling you, when you watch just every time, I don't see Justin Herbert making the best decisions. It's so ridiculously talented. It's just like, oh, wow. Yeah. I don't think anybody else would have thrown that, but somehow you got that in there. And then with Patrick Mahomes, like I said earlier, now they're relying on this, what I would call their scheme. That's their scheme.
Yeah.
And the scheme started to get shut down because everybody saw what it was. It was just like Tyreek's going deep, Kelsey's filling in, and whenever Patrick starts running around, Kelsey's just going to tail him. And this is basically their scheme because you have to. Tyreek is the fastest football player I've seen since Deion Sanders. Right. You have to back up as far as you can with the safety. The corner's bailing. And this is when all they did was run him deep because he couldn't run any routes yet.
Right.
And especially when Patrick first got in the league, it was just like, well, he can't. Nobody can throw it 80 yards. Well, yeah, he can't. As a corner, and I will tell you, you gauge, you learn, you watch tape, you gauge how far the quarterback's arm actually is.
Sure. I would always call it live wire. I'd be like, yo, back up. We got a live wire. Especially, you look at one and don't look like they got some, and then they pop one over your head. You see how far it goes. You're like, oh, okay. Thank you. Now I understand.
I just remember what in particular it is preseason games. That's how long ago I played. We had preseason in college. And we played IUPUI every year as a preseason.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where, what's his name went? Point guard.
Oh yeah, they smashed us. They were like legit. They were good. But anyway, receiver running, and I stopped full speed at about 55 yards, and he kept running and started like, I'm open. He's like, oh, son, I burned you. Blah blah blah. I'm like, your quarterback can't throw it farther than 60 yards. There's no point in running 80 yards. Well, with the cheetah, there was a point in running 80. You had to.
Oh, yeah.
You actually had to cover 80 yards because Patrick Mahomes, he could actually throw it that far in a game, which is stupid. So, let's get into some prognostication.
Oh, yeah.
So, the Rams are a 4.5-point favorite.
Yeah, saw that.
So, to me, as a new bettor in football, that means that they're either going to win by 3 or the Bengals are going to win. They're not going to cover the spread because that's where the money's going to be at.
Tell you where I'm leaning. I got Joey B going straight to the tickety top.
So the Madden simulator is 61% accuracy since 2002 when they've been doing this for the Super Bowl. Has the Bengals winning?
I got the Bengals winning all the way, baby.
I've seen this play out before. I've seen the favored Rams go into a Super Bowl and play a second-year quarterback who just has it. Except everybody knows Burrow has it. Nobody knew Tom had it, except him.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Boyban won a national title, broke every single record that existed in scoring in college, and was a number 1 overall pick. He's expected to do this. I've seen it before.
Also, they have an irrational sense of belief in their ability to do it. Chase has it. Joey Boyban has it.
They're so young. I love it.
It just permeates throughout the whole team. The kicker has it.
Oh.
So they have an irrational sense of their ability to just win no matter what. They don't even see themselves underdogs. Like, that's nonsense. Like, nah. This is expected. It is expected.
Expected.
So this, you can't replace that. Like, that just, like, special things happen. These things that's hard to explain, except just in a moment it just makes sense. Like, yeah, of course that did.
So,
of course that happened to you. Of course it did.
Football players could see this.
Mm-hmm.
We all see this. We all see this. We bid on teams that don't have this.
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while you get it on a team that does have this. And it's just like, oh, you see why it's so different. Mm-hmm. Dude, it's so much fun. They're so young. They know they can't be stopped. So,
right.
The Rams have a decided advantage in what has won the Giants multiple Super Bowls in the defensive front versus this offensive line. The one thing that the Bengals do have is Joe Boyban doesn't care if he gets sacked 15 times at all.
Does not. No.
Whatever. So the Rams also have the best corner in football.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be tasked with covering. He has to cover Chase. Or what I would do is make him cover T. Higgins one-on-one and then just put your second corner and a safety on Chase. That's what Belichick would do. It makes sense. But even if Ramsey is on Chase and if it's one-on-one, Joe's going for it.
Also this. So, and I saw this happening when Tom was bringing them back against the Rams. The Rams have big trouble if the back out of the backfield can catch.
And Mixon is dope.
And Mixon can most definitely do that. So they can do all that slick shit, and if the 4 are getting to him, they're just going to have Mixon come up out of that backfield and bang, bang, and they're going to make you stop that shit, which will then now slow that pass rush down and then open some shit up possibly for Uzama. I don't know if he's going to be out.
So I was just about to tell you. So they had a pep rally before they traveled to L.A. And at the pep rally, Uzama comes out in the big giant brace that you can't even bend your leg in. He comes out hobbling.
Yeah.
They give him the mic. He says some shit and rips the shit off, throws it, and says he's back. So Uzama is back, and it will be played. See, this is that everybody got all hyped and shit. Like, dude, they're gonna win. They're gonna win.
What I'm saying. I mean, seriously. And what's the slot receiver's name? I'm forgetting his name right now. One of the best damn slot receivers in the damn league.
Taylor. Is it Taylor? That's the head coach. It's something like that. Tyler Boyd. It's Tyler Boyd. Yeah. Tyler.
Tyler Boyd could very well be the MVP.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see him sneaking in 2 touchdowns. Deion Branch style.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Um,
Samaje Perine could end up being the lead rusher for the Bengals. You
or
know
he
what I
could
mean?
do what he did last, in the division or in the championship round, have a screen pass and break it for 50 yards.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Like I could see Samaje be the leading rusher, and Mixon being the leading receiver out of the backs. You know what I mean? Like, just the Rams are pretty decent against the run, but they can be run on.
Well, so if you look at if you go Cincinnati's receivers versus the Rams secondary, there's more quality of depth in the Bengals receivers because
Absolutely.
they go 3 deep that are really, really good. So it comes down to, all right, so Ramsey can cover somebody, but he can be beat deep, and that's what Chase excels at. And then also the comeback and then screen, incredible. So the things that he does the best at are going to be available for him. So then if T. Higgins is getting busy, you'll see Ramsey switch over, and then they'll double him.
Also, T. Higgins is 6'5", athletic, can go get it. It's like he's no slouch.
So,
he's the number one in his own right.
Now you're looking at second corner having to deal with that mess, right? And then you got Tyler Boyd versus a slot or possibly Eric Weddle. He'll smoke Eric Weddle.
Yeah. Like a motherfucking pack of cools. Yeah.
So then you see the tight end battle became both Higbee and Uzama both got hurt. Higbee's still questionable. Probably not going to play.
Mm-hmm.
But Kendall Blanton got busy.
That Blanton kid showed up.
He got busy. So,
yes, he did.
But the problem is they don't have any depth behind him.
Right.
So there's more talent. And then the little white kid is their kick returner and fourth receiver.
The Bengals?
Yeah. His last name is Taylor.
Oh.
You could see him scoring
Oh, like getting a little.
because you're going to have to deal with everyone else.
Sure.
There's going to be that guy. It happens every time that a no-name.
You call it your Mark Lemke moments.
Yeah.
Even though Mark Lemke, it became a thing because every time he went to the playoffs, all of a sudden he's blowing up.
Brandon Stokely, long touchdown.
Sure.
Brandon Stokely again for the Rams.
Yep.
It happens. There's always going to be somebody, especially with a good quarterback. Oh, that guy's open. Let's just get him the ball.
Yep.
Especially with these teams, they're so top heavy talented. Their stars are mega stars and very talented.
Right.
So then you look at the reverse. The Bengals have been playing better on defense. It comes down to, again, if they can get pressure, but the Rams receiving core is way better than the Bengals secondary.
Yeah.
Like, way better.
I know. I know.
Especially
Apple.
Especially with Odell. I knew this was going to happen. I told you when this happened, this is going to be Randy Moss all over again. Had a couple terrible years with a bad franchise and people thought he was washed, and he's going to go to a good franchise. And
yeah, I mean, we talked about it. I was like, Rams. You go to Rams long time ago, but when he was still in Cleveland, I was like, man, they have a chance for him to get to the Rams. He needs to go to the Rams, even though they got Cup, Woods. Doesn't matter. They'll find a spot.
Nah, it worked out. It hurt them for a while when Woods got hurt because he was their best. He can really block, and so can Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
And Odell doesn't really block.
Right.
And I really wouldn't ask him to. That's not what he's there to do.
Right.
Don't put those hands on anybody. Go catch the football.
Yeah.
Right? So, but Woods getting hurt, it mean he had to fill a bigger role. And it took a while to work into it, but once he worked into it and Matthew Stafford realized, if I throw it anywhere near this guy, he will catch it.
Yes.
He's got the best hands in football history. Just straight.
Like he attacks it.
Straight hand. He's got the best hands I have ever seen because I texted he has aggressive hands. He literally attacks the football in any angle. It's all hands. He never uses his body. Even here, he catches it with his hands. And then he can make any one-handed catch that is the one where the ball's already past him and he catches the back end of the ball. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Now he's emerged and healthy and
happy
and confident and happy. And the big thing is they said they were talking about today. If he's happy, this is what you get. It's not about giving him the football to make him happy.
He just must be happy.
He needs to just be happy.
And it's that new wave. You just got to make baby happy.
There's not a whole lot of joy coming out of Cleveland, homie.
No. They know how to make it happy. His brother for life was there. And he still couldn't be made happy.
Well, I mean, so New York, of course. LA, of course it works.
Yeah. You know what it is.
It works. I mean,
if it wasn't for Gettleman, straight up, whatever that beef was between Gettleman, wait, we could guess at what it was, right? Odell was rocking. Odell was rocking with Saquon. Odell was rocking with Cruz. Like, he had no beef with Eli at that point. Like, shit got funny once Gettleman got in there.
Yeah, so I'm sure Odell didn't like the benching of Eli.
No, he did not.
That was his guy.
The Macadouche.
That was his guy. See, like, you have to understand, for a quarterback and wide receiver to really be on the same page and, like, you don't have to be friends off the field. They just have to be friends in the facility and on the field, like, on the same page. Eli knew, well, this guy catches everything. Let's throw it to him. This isn't hard.
This is his Louisiana homeboy, his New Orleans homeboy.
Yeah, they had they could connect. It worked.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like
Eli helped blow Odell up. Please do remember, Eli helped blow Odell up.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw it to you. Here you go.
Yeah. And it was successful. A lot.
And we all know Eli, and even me, he would just chuck it up. I'm going to give you a shot. Here it goes.
Here it is.
Got to love it.
Blackscore didn't complain. Amani Tuma didn't complain. Cruz didn't complain.
You got to love it. You got to love a quarterback that will just chuck it up. Like, here, go get this shit, dude.
Oh, yeah. Let's go. Let's get it.
Well, it's also because, Eli knows his physical limitations, so it's not on his arm to make the play. He just makes he actually, good decisions. That's how you win fucking games.
Yeah.
And, he did have the clutch ability.
Good.
Imagine if Peyton had Eli's clutch ability.
God damn. I mean, and we're talking about a guy who already won 4 MVPs. Like, yeah. I mean, we talk about ridiculous.
He'd have been the Bill Russell of football. He'd have won like 11,
Seriously.
8 straight, 11 total. Like,
yeah, but you wouldn't even want Peyton like that because he already talks a lot of shit. So if he had all them rings, he'd be an unstoppable shit talker. You wouldn't want that. He needed to be humbled. He needs to know that Eli and him have the same amount of rings. Don't matter how many MVPs.
And they both need to know that you can combine them shits and it's still not even close to Tom.
But Eli has more Super Bowl MVPs.
This is true, Peyton. And honestly, that first one.
That should have been one of the running backs.
Should have been Joseph Adai, right? Didn't he have a big game?
Yeah.
He had a big game. Because it was terrible conditions, and they took the ball out of Peyton's hand, and they ran the ball.
Yeah.
Because they knew they had Rex on the opposite sideline. They didn't need to put up 40 points.
The biggest pass they had was the Reggie Wayne on the sidelines. He caught that out, and then he ran it in.
Yeah.
Up the sidelines. But it was more so the move he made and did it. That's what, sealed it. But if it wasn't for a die, Like he got busy. That
Yeah.
game.
He should have, but I mean, I've seen that happen with Todd before. He's got Super Bowl
with
MVPs.
Antoine Smith, that first one, Antoine Smith got you 92 yards, touchdown. Like,
There's been a couple where it's been like, I mean, honestly, can we not just give it to Adam Vinatieri? Like, here you go, dude. You just won this thing.
fair.
And this is coming from Pats fan people. Like, Tom, I understand it's Tom, but this is like nobody really stuck out above everyone else. So let's just give it to the quarterback who did have a great game.
Like they could have gave it to Vinatieri against the Panthers and win Houston. That ended up being a crazy game.
Well, when Deion Branch won it, Tom Brady actually should have won that one.
Yeah.
It was just, and James White should have won the Super Bowl MVP against the Falcons, but
Yeah.
how could you not give it to him after being down 28-3? Like, you have to. So, quarterback matchup. You have somebody that's trying to prove that they were worth the number one pick from 12 years ago, finally getting to prove it on a national stage. For those who don't watch football a lot and you only saw the Lions in the background on Thanksgiving Day getting trounced.
While you yourself were getting trounced.
But there was this quarterback that was just chucking it downfield to this tall receiver, and they couldn't be stopped. They just always lost for some reason. Yeah, that was this guy. Interesting. What I didn't think.
Thankfully, beat Dallas multiple times. I did appreciate him.
What I didn't think was going to happen, though, that he was going to bring the bad Detroit Lions play with him also. That just happens to be Matthew Stafford.
Well, the thing is, when you listen, if you've been marinating in a bowl of shit for 12 years, then you get rescued, and now just for a season, you've been marinating in just straight lemon juice and elderberry and lavender. That's just one season. You've been marinating in shit for 12. It's going to take a little bit longer to get that stench off you, baby.
So the prime example, fourth quarter, down 3, 9 minutes left. There was 6.5 or 9, one of those. Still a lot of game time left, but game could have completely been blown open. Matthew Stafford pulls a Detroit Lions Matthew Stafford and throws a punt that Sweet Tart couldn't catch because he has no hands.
I know. Bad habits. Bad habits.
That was such a poorly thrown ball. It was like 7 yards short.
Bad habits.
Into double coverage.
Your bad habits.
He did. Now, how excruciating was it for you as a former receiver and somebody who can catch, watching Sweet Tart try to catch that football?
Well, because I'll tell you what, for anyone who was rooting for San Francisco, should have at that point in time, right then and there, knew
You were
it was
losing.
over.
Game
over.
All football fans
Game
knew at that moment this game was
that,
over.
I was like, oh, y'all just lost the game. That was it. That was your way to end the game right there. You blew it. I guarantee you, Rams are about to go get busy and score.
Asante Samuel, you blew it.
Right, the script has already written itself at that point.
Yeah, you blew it, Asante Samuel.
Yeah, that's it. It was game over. It was just interesting to see how it was going to actually end. But the game was already over at that point.
We've seen it. It happens. It happens in football.
Time and time again, without fail.
So
Without fail.
football, as complex as it is with so many moving parts and the amount of plays, 60, 70, 80 plays per team, per game, right? A lot of action going on. It surprisingly plays itself out in very few narrative ways. It's a lot like boxing. You're just looking for like that one punch that's going to score something big. Maybe a touchdown, a long drive where you just beat somebody down for a round. You're just trying to win a round It's just you're going back and forth. It's just the way it is. Unless you just come out and just beat the shit out of somebody, which happens. But it's usually just comes down to like one, especially playoff games. There's that one moment, and we can always trace it back, and that was the moment. Dude, he jumped to catch it at his chest, which is just catch it. Just catch it.
That's nerves.
And not only did he jump to catch it at his chest, Gary, he tried to catch it like this.
Yeah.
He went. I was like.
That's why he laid on the ground so long, because, ladies and gentlemen, he knew at that point in time it was over.
You know what?
And it doesn't matter how many people will go back and say, if Sweetheart just catches that, we would have had it. He'll feel it. He'll know it. And real people who know the game will say, you got that shit. We're not even having this discussion. We're talking about Cincinnati 49ers running it back from 89. Icky shuffle and all that shit.
And now you're the one who made the defining play.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, what if Malcolm Butler is a split second slow on that break?
Now we're talking Russell Wilson.
Back to back.
Super Bowl MVP. The whole, What's going down with does Tom leave earlier from New England?
The ripple effects would have been astronomical. The whole league would have changed. Because Tom would have left because they had Jimmy G waiting.
Yeah.
Because when Malcolm Butler made that catch, Tom and Jimmy G were standing there, and Tom just started jumping and screaming like a little girl, but they didn't celebrate together.
Nah.
I was just like, ooh, that tells me a lot right there. They jumped up and down by themselves, and then Jimmy G went off to somebody else. They were just jumping beside each other, and then they Tom didn't even acknowledge his existence. I was like, oh shit, man, that tells me a lot. Yeah. Woo. They didn't even want to celebrate with you, Jesus.
Damn, homie.
But yeah, the whole league changes completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
Sure.
Fucking histories change. Tom's Super Bowl record gets dented. He goes somewhere else. Probably wins. It's Tom. He probably wherever he goes, he's probably going to at least win one. Unless he goes to Houston.
Who knows? Maybe he ends up in San Francisco. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. Like everything changes.
So then it'd have been Tom versus. We're talking more Tom versus Aaron Moore now. And you would have got to see that play out a lot sooner.
And you would have seen different AFC teams get shots in the Super Bowl besides just New England and then in their off years, Pittsburgh.
Especially those Ravens teams and those Steelers teams.
They would be definitely going at it, but then you'd have like a team that kind of would have snuck in. Like those Jets teams that made 2 straight AFC Championships games.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially that first year when they didn't ask Mark Sanchez to do anything.
Right.
They possibly go in and win a Super Bowl.
You got LaDainian, and then you had that other running back, Brian something, I think. He's out of Missouri.
Santonio Holmes.
Justin Keller before Ray Lewis took his soul.
Yeah. and a defense that was literally just incredible. Yeah. And this is the first couple years of Rex, so it was fresh and new, and everyone liked it.
And everybody was with it. Everybody was with that.
See, imagine that they go and win a title. Rex gets one, changes his whole narrative and everything.
And you would have got the Jets their first chip since '69. Long Island would have been on fire, and parts of Queens, but Long Island especially. It would have been in flames.
So many things change on that one play.
We're talking about Mark Sanchez in a whole different light, Mr. Butt Fumble.
So, insane, one play.
LaDainian Tomlinson would be a world champion.
Marshawn Lynch would have 2.
Oh, yeah, he would.
Well, even if they don't throw that and just hand it to him 3 more times.
Which is exactly what I would have done. I don't know.
Just who cares? Who cares if they put 12 in one gap? Just give it to him.
He will find a way.
I mean, he's so big, Kerry, and athletic that if he did the I'm so high. Fuck. Bears running back.
Sweetness.
Yeah, if he did the Walter Payton, the full Superman, if somebody actually hits him in the air, he's winning that battle. The physics of him is winning.
Yeah.
He's not, those collisions that made people stop doing that when LeVar Arrington broke people's necks in the air. You got to remember, Kerry, he was the one that ended all of that.
LeVar had zero neck. He just went like his back. He went mid-back up into just right here.
And you're talking about somebody who was one of the first people that I can remember, especially at that size, jumping over the line to block kicks with ease.
Insane athleticism.
So imagine he was the one, when he was in the league, people stopped going over the top.
You didn't want to get like this. Like, you never want to be scared of anybody, like, whatever, I'll go head up with everybody. That's somebody you did not want to get hit by. I'll be honest with you. Like, nah. Especially if you're slipping and you're not really braced. Even if you are braced, you know you don't get it. But if you're not braced, he is knocking your block off.
So freaking athletic. Just another one that injuries cut.
He was so fast.
And also, he's the NFL Larry Johnson.
That's what I'm saying. Like, those linebackers who end up at Penn State, insane. LeVar Arrington, Micah Parsons, like, these guys who are just straight will murder you.
Did you see the Pro Bowl skills challenge?
Pieces of it.
So the Pro Bowl absolutely fucking blows because they might as well play flag football, to be honest with you. It'd be more entertaining.
Yeah.
You could bring back in old retired players, pepper them in. It'd be way more entertaining, right?
Yeah, I kind of don't even get why they even still do it.
And then bring back like the full skills challenge like they used to.
I like the skills challenge, fine, because they actually get up for that.
Well, the new ones were cool. So they had dodgeball, awesome.
Yeah, love dodgeball.
It was fun. They had the best catch competition. It was their version of a dunk contest.
I did see that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was the first one, so now people will, just like dunks evolved to like people are doing things now that don't dunking it like literally behind their back and dunking.
I mean, Trayvon Diggs did his thing.
Yeah, it's cool. It could definitely get better.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was cool. They had the QB accuracy challenge again, but it was windy and cold in Vegas. So not Joe Burrow. Mac Jones only got like 5 points or whatever, and then the other quarterback only got like 2, and then they had another quarterback who sucked. It was windy. You could literally see the ball moving, right? And then they had 2 non-quarterbacks do it. So Justin Jefferson and then somebody else, and they both sucked. That neither of them even scored.
Okay.
And then they get Russ in there. Dude, he put up like 29 points in the wind.
Love him.
Dude, he literally just went down each target. Bink, 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 bink. Hit the ones that were moving up and like bink, 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 bink. He missed like 2 throws out of all of them.
Love him.
And it just showed you the difference.
Yeah.
Because they were young quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
Because no veterans are playing in the fucking Pro Bowl in Vegas. What the fuck for, right? But that shows you the difference between, like, that's a Hall of Fame level quarterback who's still in his prime, who has always been insanely accurate. It was with the wind, whatever. Bink, 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 bink.
Tell me the Giants can't use that guy? Come on, especially in MetLife Stadium.
So, something else that happened at the Pro Bowl, Alvin Camara gets arrested.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, he punched some guy? Or?
Oh, they beat the shit out of this dude, apparently.
Oh.
Yeah. So, it was an elevator incident.
They got cameras on the elevators, y'all.
And somebody was trying to get in the elevator or something, and something happened, they put their hand, and it ended up going on Alvin Kamara, and then his man punched him or something, and then They just all just jumped on.
Just because of that?
Yeah. Something absolutely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. So, it might have been in a club. I don't know. I'll have to look it up again. But it was a whole, somebody put their hand on him and his man just flipped the fuck out. And it wasn't even like, hey, Alvin Camara. It was just like a, let me get in there real quick, or like something like that, right? And apparently they beat the ever-living shit out of this dude. But in the footage that is like classic security cam, look, this is a 4K camera right here, plugged into my USB. There's 8K cameras on phones. Classic fucking security cam, fucking black and white grainy shit. Alan Stack narrating in the background, unsolved mysteries type shit, right? And but in it, they show, it was funny because they actually showed the police report and they can match up all the tattoos from Alvin Camara. So they matched his tattoos in his chain. So he definitely was involved. He can't say, nah, it was my security or whatnot. I had nothing to do with it. Nah, he's definitely involved. So this is why you don't have the Pro Bowl in Vegas, man. It's Vegas. Nothing good happens in that place.
Well, also, was it that crucial? If homie was just trying to get that one?
No disrespect, homie. But it is the city of sin. And it was an odd choice to have it in Vegas. Because there's no incentive.
I suppose Orlando?
I mean, if it wasn't the Roni, they should just have it back in Hawaii because it made players want to go because you got to go to Hawaii.
True that. I would always choose Hawaii over everything.
Or, if you want to grow the game, have it. Yeah, have international Pro Bowls. Have the shit in Germany, London.
They like that over there.
Yeah, you get to see all of the star players at once.
But you would also have to make it serious. They don't play the game seriously.
Yeah, there's no Sean Taylor out there knocking punters out.
They don't, like, they just don't do that. So it's not, even I thought, because some charities, if you do certain things, incentives, they don't even care about that.
So, how many players that were in the Pro Bowl are free agents?
Right.
Who wants to get injured in the fucking Pro Bowl when you're up for a contract or negotiating their shit?
So then you just make it skills or what?
Flag football and skills challenge. They're not going. Football is too physical. You can't have it in the middle of the season because what if somebody gets hurt in the fucking Pro Bowl and they're out for the playoff run or whatever? It's stupid.
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm saying. They gotta then change it because the game is garbage.
You just don't have it anymore. Flag football would be way more entertaining.
Yeah.
Dude,
or just do the skills challenge. That's fine.
The beach football that the MTV used to do was with Nelly was way more entertaining than this.
Yeah.
Well, you do the whole skills challenge. You have the 40, the weightlifting, QB challenge, punters, kickers. You have like all the skill, everything that you could think. The dodgeball was awesome.
You can still do AFC, NFC, relay race challenges, that shit.
All that shit. It'd be dope.
It's like the Battle of the Stars that they used to do.
Yeah, they're always just like, well, if somebody gets injured in that, well, it's better than what you're giving us right now because I didn't even watch the Pro Bowl. That shit sucks.
All right. Gotta refill. I'll be right back.
See, that's what I'm talking about. There was a shooting at the stadium already. Aren't they having the Super Bowl in Vegas like next year? If it's not next year, I know it's soon because they got that new multi-billion-dollar stadium, and one of the reasons that you do that is so you could have the Super Bowl. Having the Super Bowl in Vegas would be trouble. Having the Pro Bowl there is probably a dry run. But I think they already said they're having it. I gotta look that up now. Inquiry minds need to know. Las Vegas Super. 2024. So yeah, they already got a Super Bowl there. Yo, homie, that's going to be... Because the world will be fully open by then. Either that or we're all going to be dead, so... It's going to be fully back open, so... yeah, that Super Bowl is going to be trouble. The Death Star, it does look like the Death Star. Yo, so if in 2024, whenever that season starts, I wonder if you can bet now. I want to put a flyer in on the Raiders making the Super Bowl in 2024.
Oh.
Not because they got this NFL's doing this new dumb shit where, like, the hosting team is in the Super Bowl in this new multi-billion-dollar stadium all of a sudden.
True.
So the Raiders just got a new... Because I was just talking about how, like, you know...
Josh McDaniel in the Super Bowl?
Homie Vegas, literally, it lives in Vegas, said that there's already been a shooting at the stadium. So this is just the Pro Bowl. Can you imagine the Super Bowl in Las Vegas? It's not a good... It'd be a lot of NFL players getting arrested out there. It's not good.
It'd be Tupac all over again.
Well, see, what you have to understand, and Kerry, you know this. What happens with football players, and it's even happened in college, especially with frat boys. You know this one for sure. They want to take, it's like being in prison. You got to go take out one of the top alphas or whatnot to assert your dominance and whatnot. So football players become targets, especially NFL players, because they're absolutely gigantic and they're extremely wealthy. And it's a known person, so if you're a tough guy and drunk or whatnot or coked up, you want to swing on a defensive lineman and improve your merit or whatnot because he might have hit on your girl. It's not going to work out good for you, homie. But these things happen.
Yep.
Sometimes people put hands on Alvin Kamara's shoulder.
By accident. So we're trying to catch the damn elevator.
Yeah, something absolutely unnecessary. So, yeah, back to the game. Special teams, both kickers are solid, but the Bengals have who is that dude. He knows he's that guy, and you're a kicker. If you have that, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Don't they have the Rams have Hecker though as the punter, and he's awesome.
He is. I was trying to think of the return game.
Well, the Bengals used that little white dude, Taylor. I think he played at Miami. And the Rams, I could actually see Odell getting returns in this game.
Yeah, I could.
What do you have to lose, and who has better hands than him? So punt returns, not kick returns. Punt returns, I can see Odell definitely getting. The Rams
actually did it in college.
But the Rams in those, we're just going to do the right thing. Punt returns, Cooper Kupp goes back there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you also have Odell, who is a game breaker at returner. So I would definitely see if they're maybe behind or if it's close.
I would say it absolutely would have to be situational.
Late in the game, I could definitely see him getting a punt return. And why wouldn't you? I've seen him break games in college off of a punt return.
Right.
It happened against West Virginia. I saw it happen. I watched it. I knew it was going to happen. Like, this is good. Don't kick it to him. Why'd you kick it to him? Honey Badger did the exact same thing to WVU. Fucking idiots.
Hey, it can be done.
Essentially, the game, especially one game scenario, comes down to can one team, i.e. the Rams, get pressure with just your front four? The Bengals have Trey Hendrickson. He's a stud.
They do, but did the other defensive end come back?
Ajobi, I don't think he did.
Nuke and Joby, something like
Something,
that.
yeah. I don't think he did. But they're the nickel corner from Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Is it
Oh,
Mike Adams?
Hilton.
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 Stud. Huge pickup for them.
Oh yeah.
We talked about that in preseason. Like, oh, this was huge for them.
I
This
was
is
like that. I was like, that's going to be one of those under the radar ones.
yeah, because he's a slot corner, and they're
He's
not.
been busy.
That's not a Pro Bowl position yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not a specialty. It's not viewed, although it is a specialty now. It's not hasn't been widely accepted. Of like, no, these are their own people. This is a unique skill set to be able to cover corner in open space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they have him, and he's an absolute stud. And Bates has been balling.
Saying Bates the third. I've been saying Bates the third has been getting busy.
He's been balling. So
I mean, even and whatever. He's been up and down, but he's been on a good streak lately. I got to give props to due. Eli Apple has been playing pretty well.
listen, he got put on an absolute island in a very crucial moment when things are moving so fast because the Chiefs decided to push it and go for it on fourth down and gave it to their probably one of the, if not, I don't know, Chase is up there now, of open space operators with the football in the fucking NFL, and he made the play.
Yes, he did.
And you see how you make that play. He just went straight through him. He didn't fall for any move, he just went straight.
Yep.
And then, as thin as he is, and Cheetah has leverage, he's was able to, amazing play.
Yeah.
What essentially came down to the play of the game. Because as the rest of it folded out, that actually was the play of the game, even though Patrick Mahomes throws that pick. And you used to play in the secondary, tip drill. I can't catch it. I'm tipping it straight back to you. Here you go. That worked out flawlessly. But what they don't talk about is the play before that. That dude dropped the fucking pick.
Yes, he did.
Like, right.
You normally don't get back-to-back chances like that.
You don't, but Bates made the actual play of the game by tipping it. Because Cheetah had that one. Mm-hmm. And since he dropped that one, I'm like, oh, they're going. Andy Reid understands football, and so does Patrick Mahomes. Oh, we have him. That was their shot. Let's get him now. Mm-hmm. The problem was he literally, like, let's get him now, and kind of telegraphed it right out, double coverage.
And he was a little off that game. He was a little high on some passes. It was a little off.
And that happens.
Then, like right before they tied it up to send it to overtime, the decision making on those 4 plays were perplexing.
Yeah, so
they got all the way down like to the 2 or the 3.
So
and then started moving backwards. I didn't get any of that.
So this is the analytics theory, right? And this is why I hate analytics. I hate analytics. So they got down to like the 2.5, something like that, with there's a 103 left.
Something like that. Fucking change.
Did not want to, a la Ahmed Bradshaw, trying to fall down on the one and rolling into the end zone. Didn't want to give the ball back to Joey Boyband, and I get it. This is what he thrives in. But just score the touchdown and force them to beat you.
That's it.
So,
you pay your defense. That's why you got a defensive coordinator. Like, and defenders. I don't understand that.
So they ran that stupid jet sweep to get back in the middle of the field and actually not gain any yardage, just to kill time. Right? I already knew at this moment you deserve to lose this football game. That's what I texted you. I said Kansas City deserves to lose this game, and they're going to, because this is how football works. You go win the game. Don't try not to lose it. They tried not to lose.
I know it.
Next play, holding. Let's go back 10 yards, you idiots. Now it's 2nd and goal again. Patrick Mahomes, they try to run a pass, just falls because there's nothing, right? Well, now we're at like third and whatever. It's third and goal from like, who knows, we're like 20 something. They're like way back.
Yeah.
He goes and tries to rely on the raw, I can make anything happen, is running around and actually fumbles the fucking ball. They deserve to lose. They got lucky that their lineman recovered that because he was the only one there wearing that color helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Kicker stepped up. What was the ball at the 2.5 now turned into a 46-yard field goal to send it to overtime. You deserve to lose this football game.
Yeah.
They call tails. Tails always wins. What are you doing? Call tails.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City's social media team immediately tweets out, "We won the coin toss." You're setting the narrative that you're about to lose this game because I've already seen it happen. Kerry, literally the very first play, he throws what should have been a pick. The next play, pick.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I hit you again. I'm just like, he is trying to lose this fucking game right now. This is incredible.
I think he's also tired of his wife and brother. With the same sidelines.
So his brother's basically undefeated. Every time his brother's on the sidelines, they fucking lose.
That's terrible. He would never be allowed to come to my games ever again.
The
I
Washington
would pay attention to that.
Well, they are paying attention to it because
You know what? I would take that for data.
yeah, it's like a thing. It's like a known thing now. Not only just in Kansas City. Pat McAfee show talks about it all the time. Like, this guy is ruining the Chiefs. Headlines are being made about this. Like, is this too much of a distraction?
Also, if listen, they're not out there completing 50-yard passes or quarterback sneaks. You don't need to be in the highlight. You don't need to be in the headlines at all. What you doing?
So this is Marcus Vick without the talent.
Yeah, at least Marcus could throw the rock.
Yeah, because remember, this happened to Marcus. Like, Michael got that 100 and at that time, that deal 160 or whatever was like,
I know, it's ridiculous.
so retarded. But Marcus could play.
Is it good?
Had issues at Virginia Tech, which, being that it was Michael's brother, he got some extra leeway. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
He did get a shot in the NFL on a roster. It didn't work out. But then immediately just spiraled into, my brother's got $160 million. I'm going to do whatever I want, which includes, help orchestrating a dogfighting ring and whatnot out of his Atlanta home. And whatnot.
Yeah.
This is a good idea. This is what we should do with our money. This is the same scenario, except this, Patrick Mahomes got $500 million just from football. That doesn't count the endorsement money.
Right. State Farm.
All of them.
Huge. I mean, he didn't really need much after State Farm, but yeah, I'm sure he's in some other stuff too. What, Subway? I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, of course. And then he's also is like ownership of like their soccer team in Kansas City. Already part ownership of them already. Oh, he also owns part of the Royals.
Damn.
Yeah, dude, he got $500 million.
I mean, good on him. Plus, his dad was a baseball guy too. So
Yeah, it makes sense. Totally makes sense. But Jackson Mahomes, this basically $1 billion is thrown into your brother's lap, and you're not even at Virginia Tech yet. Like, doesn't have to. He's a TikTok star. He's a celebrity already.
His brother's just in high school?
Yeah, I think so. He might be like 19 or something, but he's not old.
Forget how young.
Dude, he's on TikTok. How old do you think he is? He's like a TikTok celebrity.
Yeah, you listen, there's people in their 50s, 60s on TikTok right now trying to do some things, so I don't know.
Well, it's funny that his wife has also caught the bug, and she's all about that life, too. So apparently after they won against the Bills, from her suite, she started spraying champagne into the lower levels below her. Shit like this is what they do.
Yeah.
thinking that people are going to be like, yeah, this is. Nah, no, people were fucking pissed, and I would be too. I'd be like, what the
I know, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't throw down a cup. Stupid. What a waste.
Pass the bottle, yo.
Yeah.
I know it's good. You guys got a $500 million. Like, it's got to be good.
Come on. Ridiculous.
Absolutely retarded. Like, treating people like, the peasants and whatnot, the little people. So stupid. It makes you wonder how clearly has a very long career, but this current Kansas City window, how long is this window going to stay open?
Shorter than people believe.
Yes. See, I knew you would say the same thing that I think. It looks like it's closing quick because Kelsey's not going to be around forever.
Every year that like this is another one. This one hurts because this is like the one I would say with Kelsey still being a part of the team. This team in its current iteration with Cheetah, Kelsey, Mahomes, all that, they only have a shot for one more together. One more.
Yeah.
With all of them, their collective. If Mahomes wins more without one of them, it would most likely be I would say without Kelsey and more with Cheetah, but
I don't think it'll be either of them.
I don't think it'll be I don't think it would be either. I think with Kelsey it just might be a thing of not re-signing, but with Cheetah to trade him to try to get what you can in return. But yeah, I think but as a trio though, I think they have a shot, and I'm just saying not that they're gonna get it done. They only have a shot at one more together.
So I think this mirrors the Aaron Rodgers arc. Ultra talented, solid teams, playoff runs, and then you get one.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty early on in his run too, so just like, oh, this is like he could be the GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is this Tom only had 3 at that time, so it's just like, oh, if he gets like 4 or whatever, he could be the GOAT. He could be the guy. People say if he gets just one more, he could be that. That whole team, Jordy Nelson, the whole Bubba Franks. I forget who was their running back then. But that whole scenario and the whole receiving core gone, right?
Demond Green already.
I think he was definitely there for. I don't know if he won a Super Bowl with them or not. Possibly. Probably was. It was widow's peak.
Okay.
So then that
Starks. Was Starks there? Running back Starks.
James Starks.
James Starks.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, James Starks was there. He got a ring.
So that core dissipates, right? Jordy Nelson being the first one to go elsewhere. He ends up in the Raiders for a couple years.
Raiders, yes.
So, and then people retire.
Felt like Jordy got pushed out, though.
He did. Aaron hated it.
Yeah.
This was the beginning of his discord with the Packers front office because that was his guy. So, and then
wasn't Jermichael Finley there?
Greg Jennings.
Jermichael Finley, Greg Jennings. It was Donald Driver. He was gone.
No, it was Donald Driver. Greg Jennings came afterwards. Greg Jennings was during that run where they were good and didn't win.
Right.
Right, and then they came out with this iteration. He got themselves back into the championship caliber.
About Randall Cobb, a young Randall Cobb.
So now he's got Devontae and Aaron Jones and this iteration that's making playoffs, but still didn't make it, and they've hit their ceiling. So Patrick Mahomes, he's young enough. He'll definitely have another core built around him.
Sure.
But will it be good enough to actually win a title?
Right.
People expect quarterbacks to win multiple titles now.
They do.
The bar's been set so high at 7 now that it's so retarded that you got to get a couple to be even considered, elite all-time level.
Which if you just even look just at the few names we'll just have one.
Yeah.
And then how the list shrinks when we talk about 2, 3, 4. We're talking like now 2 men out of the game has been played since
It's over 100 years.
and it's that rare. I mean, yeah, we've been doing just Super Bowls just since this is what the 56th one. But even if you go back to NFL championships, you'll still see the numbers will bear out the same. It'll be different games.
So if you look at the ones who do have multiples, they wouldn't even be considered top 10 all time.
Mm-mm.
Bradshaw,
Mm-hmm.
Troy Aikman.
Mm-hmm.
You get down to Joe Montana, of course, is always in the conversation. But then you get down to Elway with 2. Eli wouldn't be considered in the top 10 all time. He's got 2. Peyton is obviously.
He would be a specialty. They're like playoff situations. He'll come into.
Well, they'd have that 10, and then there's that weird asterisk, and then be like,
Yeah.
and then Eli. And you know why. That's exactly what it would say.
you know why.
You know. But then you see, so you're seeing like the game evolve, which now the talent level evolves. So you see like Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers are considered all-time greats already. Tom's out there. So you're seeing players that didn't win Super Bowls start to fade off into. Dan Marino's not even talked about anymore.
But this is what I'm saying. But also though, you get like QBs who have gotten ill credit when they were past their situation and they got big help. And I point to Elway the most because TD is the primary reason Denver won those chips, but it changed Elway's narrative so much that it elevated him back into these conversations of like being a Mount Rushmore quarterback. And I'm like, well, he's not the primary reason they won.
I would.
And when he was the primary reason on the team, they lost. And not only did they lose, they got blown out in these Super Bowls. Super Bowls where they were favored a few times.
I would.
And they got blown.
I would say that Peyton Manning also is on that level because Super Bowl 1, they take the ball out of his hands and run it and play defense.
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl 2, remember his record-breaking year, they got blown out in the Super Bowl.
Destroyed. Destroyed.
One of the worst Super Bowl.
Well, that's the best thing you do. We're gonna stop you at that. Like we're gonna make that a weakness.
So then his second Super Bowl, he couldn't throw the ball anymore. They had an all-time great defense, including Von Miller winning Super Bowl MVP.
Exactly.
So Peyton Manning's 2 Super Bowl victories were not because of him. Now,
my point.
and he's definitely an all-time great. It's fucking Peyton Manning. Are you fucking kidding yourself?
Exactly.
So then you have somebody like Drew Brees who only has 1, but his 1 was so monumental because of what it meant and whatnot.
Right.
But then you also have his astronomical numbers.
Mm-hmm.
That it took Tom this long to hang on to actually eclipse these numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so Patrick Mahomes could only end up with 1. It could happen.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. You know, Justin Herbert, he might never win 1. I could see.
Dan Fouts it. You know what I mean?
You know, but then you see somebody like Joe Burrow, and you're like, "Oh, that guy's going to win like 5."
You know what I mean?
So
you could. There's certain quarterbacks who played in this game, like Steve Young only has 1. Uno, sit, and it was lucky to get that one. And the time where Dallas was winning, Pittsburgh was always a threat. The Chargers were a threat. Like, was lucky to get that one.
yeah, that Super Bowl was a blowout, though.
It was. You know what I'm saying? It was. And then you had, like, what was it, Stan Humphries. starting quarterback for the Chargers. There,
I mean, but that was one. All right, so when he finally beat the Pistons, that's essentially what happened. He finally got over the hump in the NFC title game, right? Finally beats the Cowboys. Finally gets in, right?
Yeah.
Dude, they scored. I think it was the second play of the game was like the 70-some yard to Jerry Rice right up and. Dude, they were up 21-0 in under
Ricky Waters was getting busy. They fullback number 40 out of Florida State. I forget his name right now.
Floyd,
yeah, William Floyd.
Well, that was my guy.
Yeah, he was getting busy. Like everybody who suited up. Lee Woodall, linebacker. He was getting Gary Plummer. Everybody.
Blowout status.
Was getting busy.
All right, so all right, we both say Bengals. I see it happening, but I see them only winning by 1, 2, or 3.
Sure.
And the spread is not going to be covered.
Bengals, you pull it off, it's going to be a nip-tuck situation.
Who scores the first touchdown? See, these are betting nuggets.
Ooh.
So the Madden simulation had Chase scoring first.
Nah, I don't get that.
Well, there was some free game that you answer a couple questions, and whoever, if you get them all right, it's like 50,000 or something. There's so many of those going on right now.
Yeah.
And I actually had it was Odell.
I got Sony Michel.
That's a smart move too, because if you have watched NFL football this year, the quality of play by these teams are in opposite halves. The Rams play well in the first half. The Bengals play excellent in the second half. So you have to look for the Rams to be up early. Makes sense. It's home. I think there'll be more Bengals fans than Rams fans there because that's how it's been happening in LA. And the Bengals fans are going to be going.
Weather. Yeah.
So I would look for the Rams to get up early. Makes sense.
We got the Super Bowl in cold cities too. Can we get over it? Like it's football. I'm over it. Like it doesn't have to be in the nicest cities or like with the best weather. Blah.
Well, they had Detroit. They had Indy.
They had New York. The one time I had to leave.
Well, see, they also a new stadium. That's what happens when you get a new stadium. You get a Super Bowl.
Damn.
You buy yourself a Super Bowl with that couple $1 billion.
Missed it.
So I definitely look for the Rams to get up early, and I would think the early focus would be to try to neutralize what Cooper Kupp does, which allow Odell to be one-on-one. And in the tight situations, his lateral quickness and whatnot, i.e. the goal line, you cannot stop him.
Mm-hmm.
And you can literally throw it anywhere. This far off the ground, he'll go get it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see Odell, Sony Michel, if it's 2-3 yards because Cam Akers isn't their power back.
And I'm also going to say this. Cam Akers knows what he did. He fumbled.
Twice.
And he fumbled again. Like, that gets in your head. He knows what he did.
You could also see Kendall Blanton sneaking in there because the tight end is always crucial in the goal line.
Kendall Blanton could show up on the scene. Kabloom.
So then you see the Rams doing.
I see Rams scoring first.
You see the Rams doing what they do.
I see like it being like a Michelle or a Blanton, even Schwarzenegger, but I don't trust his hands.
Nope, not after that.
Schwarzenegger, whatever his name is.
Yeah, the Schwartz. Yeah, the Schwartz is not with him.
Yeah, the Schwartz is definitely not with him.
So typically, if this was a normal football game, you would see the Rams do what they do, which is kind of collapse a little bit in the second half, and the Bengals do what they do, which is Joe Burrow time. But this is the one thing that the Patriots excelled at. And I even predicted the Falcons Super Bowl comeback, not to a T. I said 17, not 25. That was insane. That one team goes up, the second half team will get down early because it happens. But then that motherfucking Super Bowl halftime happens that is 45 minutes long, and you've never experienced it before. And the Patriots always...
Super Bowl might be, the halftime show might be 2 hours long.
That's
3 hours.
That's another thing. That's what I'm saying.
Barry, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, Snoop, Dre, what? How you gonna keep that at 45 minutes?
You can't.
What?
Kendrick.
Come on. Yeah. It's a Nobel Prize winner.
Yeah, you can't limit his speech.
What are we talking about here?
So, it was, you know what would be hilarious if this was the Cowboys of the 90s? They would be watching this halftime show.
Oh, they would be.
Because they did that when Michael Jackson performed. Michael Irvin said, no, we went and watched Mike. We knew we were going to win. We don't give a fuck.
Love it.
So,
I
this is...
would have went to go watch Prince. That was the Bears and Indy.
Yeah, because it rained.
Raining. I would have definitely went to go watch Prince. I'm like, yeah, coach, don't worry about it. I'm gonna be right here.
It's raining, and he's going to do Purple Rain. I have to go see this.
Greatest halftime show ever.
So, this is rarely spoken about, the Super Bowl halftime hangover. But it is such a huge factor.
Beyonce made the lights go out in the Superdome.
It happened to the Falcons. They came out so flat in the second half because I'm telling you, that 40 minutes is more than double what the normal halftime is. You're so used to getting your meetings done in that 15 minutes. Your meetings are actually only like 5 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of just like talk to each. You'll figure it out. Stretch, get retaped. You know, everybody gets ready to go back out.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're getting ready. It's maybe 5 minutes. It's really quick. 40 minutes is a long fucking time, dude. The Patriots excelled at this because they had experienced it so many times. That's why you always could count on them, like, whatever, this halftime is about to kill this third quarter. You're going to see what's going to happen. The Bengals are young. Super young. But their quarterback and their ultra superstar receiver have been through a 40-minute halftime before. They won a national title game.
Yeah. Also, I will say this though, on the flip side, because the leadership on the Rams, you got to know it's coming from Aaron Donald.
Well,
And then you also have now what's his face on it? Von Miller, who has won a Super Bowl.
Well, I don't know how many
MVP.
how many of the core of this Rams team has already been to a Super Bowl.
Donald has been there, lost it.
Coaching staff has been there.
Von Miller's been there, won it, was the MVP. I think like those two voices alone could stem the tide. They would be big. Like that's it. But if the Rams end up winning, I'd be happy for multiple. I'd be happy for Aaron Donald first and foremost, because someone like him, who has excelled at his position, he's just like he's football. You know what I mean?
He's supposed to have titles.
When you say football, this is who we're talking about. This guy, he is football. So I would love to see a guy like him win. Even Odell, like you hear all his practice and all that. Yes, shenanigans are his shenanigans, whatever. He's young, but in terms of talent and what his work ethic and his drive, you love to see players like that win.
Well, Odell gets career redemption. Matt Stafford would get career validation.
Absolutely.
Aaron Donald just gets like the missing piece.
He gets that missing piece.
He's already Mount Rushmore, but the other guys on Mount Rushmore, they have those.
He has a Thanos glove. He just needs that. He needs that other gem.
Well, the other guys up there, Lawrence has 2. Reggie's got what? Reggie got 1 or 2. 1.
Reggie has 1.
1 with Green Bay, and then Dion's got 2.
Yep.
So you kind of have to be on that. You kind of have to have at least one of those.
I have it.
You know, so
Yeah.
Well, to be at that, to be an all-time, which Aaron Donald is.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch. What he's in? What year? 8? This is year 8. Yeah, 7 first-team All-Pros out of 8 years.
He and Odell came in the same year.
He's in year 8, so it's fun to see somebody at this level, which like this is.
Darryl Green, he has 2.
Like that's what I'm saying. So if Aaron Donald can get 1 or 2, then you move Darryl Green down because it's like with Aaron Donald, if he has rings that you know that he is.
Ray Lewis, 2.
He is. See, that's what I'm saying. Aaron Donald has to get at least 2 to be on there because Ray Lewis has to have that spot because he is responsible for at least one of those. He won that game by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
The game we don't even remember.
Yeah. Aaron Donald can win this game by himself.
Can.
Like, literally can.
Like, for as ill as that Tampa Bay defense was one of the illest defenses of all. I mean, like, consistency-wise, it was littered with Hall of Famers. They only got 1. They only got 1.
That's why Ray gets to be...
Aaron Brooks, Warren Sapp, Rondé Barber, John Lynch. I mean, one of the illest to ever do it, period.
Oh, they had that defensive end. I loved his name. He played at Illinois. Fuck, what was his name?
Oh, yeah. Simeon.
Yeah.
Simeon Rice.
Simeon Rice. Dope.
Blank, blank.
Dope.
97. Yep.
Dope. Yeah, Aaron Donald could definitely win this thing by himself. See,
that's why you kind of like hope someone like a J.J. Watt could have gotten with a team where he could have gotten 1. That's what eluded Bruce Smith his whole career. Reggie White was able to do it. He got him 1.
Yeah, with J.J. Watt, if they would have just given him the MVP, like he deserved to get that year, they just didn't want to give it to a defensive player. I mean, dude had like 7 touchdowns on top of dominating the entire league and having 20 sacks. Like, what are we talking about here?
Right.
That would have been enough validation for him without the ring, because that was like the Adrian Peterson season where there was one player on the field the entire season who was clearly better than everyone else. And J.J. Watt was. He drugged that team into the fucking playoffs. As a D lineman.
But it had no business being there.
None whatsoever.
He was scoring winning touchdowns either by intercepting the ball or scoring it as a tight end.
Yeah, he just said, fucking coach,
he also had to go both ways.
And everyone knew he was getting the ball when he was playing tight end. That was the crazy part.
It wasn't even a question.
It
wasn't even trickeration.
I mean, that whole year was Gronk on the offensive side and then him on the defensive side. Just 2 big lumbering giants that were unstoppable. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could see Trey Hendrickson having a big game. I don't really see anybody else from Cincinnati having on their defense having like.
Well, there's that kid, this white kid. I think his name is Luke Wilson, the linebacker. He pops up. He pops.
Yeah, but I'm talking like if somebody could like sneakily have like 2 picks or like 3 sacks.
I'm saying this kid Wilson could be that sneaky sort of player, especially considering I feel like the Rams, yeah, they're going to, with Cooper, they're going to try to get Cooper and they're going to try to get Odell off early. But I think they're really going to try to, like, run this thing with Sony and Akers, especially. I think they really trust Sony to be more of the bell cow-ish type of back. And I think, especially since they didn't get that when they went there the first time with Gurley, but they really had homie from Denver Broncos who had to like carry them the first time. They didn't really get off running wise the way they wanted to. I think this time they really do that. I think you're gonna see an Odell play early just to like try to get him in the mix. Obviously, we're gonna see Cooper early, but I think they're really gonna try to establish this run.
I think
see if they can dominate Cincinnati with this run game.
I think the tight end situation in LA is a little bit more crucial to the run game than people realize, because if Higbee's not there and you have Blanton as your only option at tight end, you really don't have tight ends blocking. So now you have eliminated your blocking option at that point. So you saw whenever.
That's why they use Schwarzenegger.
That's what I'm saying. So whenever that happened, you watching that whole entire game, Higbee gets hurt, they started going into 4 receivers.
Right.
And 1 back, and then it became like the old West Virginia Rich Rod offense.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it in shotgun, I might hand it to him, or I'm just going to throw it. Because they
do use Schwarzenegger on blocking, so I think.
Well, the fact they have Cooper Kupp, who is an excellent blocker and a willing blocker, that works. It is the Super Bowl, and I think that you will see possibly a side of Odell that you don't really see. Maybe a willing blocker. It's fucking Super Bowl time to go all out.
True.
But I know on the other side, their megastar receiver absolutely loves to block. That guy gets downfield and gets busy.
Yeah.
Which is
He's 6'5". He's naturally gonna get in your way.
So I mean that's another.
Boyd is a tough guy.
That's another aspect of the Bengals being so cohesive that their receivers are enjoying getting downfield in front of each other and blocking.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you remember when
they know that either one, anybody, they see Samaje Perine can break. Anybody can break it at any moment. Uzama had long touchdowns this year, so everybody has everybody else's back because they know we all can get it.
So this reminds me, this is a blocking version of the Greatest Show on Turf, which they got downfield with each other because they were trying to see who could get to the end zone first. It was a track meet with these guys. Hilarious.
And I'm telling you, like Mixon again, like Mixon has been the key to this entire season.
Yeah.
He has just been so key. I keep bringing. I don't hear Mixon's name get talked about enough. That's why I keep bringing him up. Because if you know anything about this game, you see how key he has been, and just look at the amount of touches he has. And when he has a certain amount of touches, they're always high. He has between 26 and 32 touches a game. Cincinnati probably won that game.
I think as if he gets 30, they're almost undefeated. So
this is what I'm saying.
Which coach is more likely to pull Pete Carroll and fuck something up? I think it's actually more McVay. Yeah.
McVay, the one who's been there before, McVay, because he's going to figure out think that he's, this is what I didn't do last time. So yeah, he would be the one.
So that's a question that I posed earlier, and I actually, because Pat McAfee was having a contest, and the picture I put up was Sean McVay absolutely fanboying with Bill Belichick before kickoff. You remember that shit, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the question I had was, does Sean McVay do this again on this stage? Now, didn't Taylor work under him? Isn't he part of this tree?
Under McVay?
No, he was under. Was he under LaFleur? I think.
Oh, Zach Taylor. I'm not sure.
I thought he was under LaFleur, which is by proxy underneath of McVay, right? But not directly under.
The branches.
So he's like down in the hierarchy in the pyramid of the McVay tree. So McVay can't really fanboy this time. He's not. Dude, that shit was hilarious. I knew that game was over the second I saw them talking. I was just like,
yeah.
Belichick knew it too. Oh, I've got him. I got this one.
You don't do that. Like, you don't do that. You just don't do that.
No, you run into each other in Cabo in the off season and have that conversation. You write them a handwritten letter.
After the game, like, hey, great battle. You just say, great battle. And then you just, great battle. Let's do it again. And then you run off. And then if you want to squeal, whatever, you squeal then.
So,
put it in your memoir.
One thing that I noticed in being around P for a very long time is when like someone fans out, they're nervous, so they'll repeat themselves. If you watch that thing, he just kept saying, so much respect for you. It was so much respect for you. I'm just like, oh, he is so nervous right now. This game is over. Over. Belichick didn't even have to say a word. He just stood there. So, I remember to a T the Rams getting introduced for the Super Bowl, and it was the greatest show on turf, player by player. Bing, 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 bing. I actually had my Azakim jersey on. It's my favorite player in the league. I had it on. The moment I became a New England fan is whenever they said the New England Patriots have chosen to come out as a team. I swear to God, I literally just went like this. Took off my shirt and said, this game is over. That New England team has the same thing going on that Cincinnati does.
I have a question to ask you. Did you have any backing music? Was there, did it rise as you decided to take your jersey off?
The Patriot rose in me. I swear there was an eagle outside the window. And out of nowhere, I had a Pabst Blue Ribbon in my hand. It was I became a New Englander immediately.
That's right. The eagle flew over immediately, took a shit on your former jersey. That was it.
Dude, I still remember that. Like, I took it off, and this game is over because this is different. This is a team that is a bunch of megastars that are the defending champion. Dude, the same thing's happening even though the Rams aren't the defending champion. It's I've seen it. I've seen
Hollywood. It's Hollywood.
I've also seen Sean McVay fuck things up in crunch time. Including these last couple games, he snuck... those two challenges that he called in the divisional that he snuck by because Jimmy G's not a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. Sean McVay got bailed out in that.
Like, look at... Even though the 49ers didn't happen to win this game, Kyle Shanahan has McVay's number. Let's not even confuse that. Has him. The Rams won despite McVay.
100%.
Okay, so let's just get that straight. So when you see that happen again, when they match up again, it doesn't matter. Like Jimmy G, that just situation was unfortunate, but DeMeco Ryans coaching on the 49ers, that defense, how his name hasn't popped up more is insane because he got them boys playing hardcore. They are straight over there. So you look at how Zach Taylor has called these games now on the road, mind you, against Patrick Mahomes and the Walrus and all them boy and the cheetah. They got Animal Planet over there. but stared him down and was like, let's do this. Whatever. We're just, when they got seeing they're going to overtime, okay. He just kept calling plays. When you saw when they were down and they kept running, I said, man, this is how they win. They're not rattled. They're going to keep sticking with what got them here, and they're going to keep continuing to go through Joe Mixon, softening up this weak-ass defense because KC has been that. They made some plays. They had moments where they made plays. They've been a weak-ass defense this whole entire year. Just because they had a couple good few games in a few weeks in a row, people should not have forgotten how cotton soft they were before. And what was the formula? Run, run, run against them. That's what Cincinnati did until they can get the rock to their superstar or superstar B, which was Jamar Chase or T. Higgins, and then also the best slot receiver in the league, Tyler Boyd, and then their backup, just like whoever else, mixing out the backfield. Samaje Perine, here, make a play.
All right, so
these guys showed up.
Here's my.
They all have this irrational belief in their abilities.
So here's my scenario. The Rams have to play a perfect game in order for them to win. right? They have to get the pressure from their front four. Sean McVay doesn't have to fuck it. He can't fuck it up, and Matt Stafford can't all of a sudden have a Detroit Lion game.
He can't go Motown. He can't go Motown City.
He can't. So the Bengals do not have to have a perfect game for them to win.
Right.
There's a huge difference.
Seen it.
There's a lot of leeway with the
Joey Boyband getting sacked 9 times. You still win the game. Makes no sense.
Against an excellent coach who doesn't fuck up situationally. And Vrabel and whatnot.
That was on the road. You go on the road again to face KC, who's done this repeatedly.
I've seen these.
Lose the coin toss. You still win.
I've seen a wild card team run through the road in all of their stops with an unflappable quarterback win against better teams. It happens because this is the most high-pressured scenario they will ever be in, and it cracks people. We've seen it absolutely cracks people. And Matthew Stafford can be cracked. I don't think Joey Boyband can.
Yes. Joey Boyband got sacked that many times. He just kept getting up looking the same way. He wasn't yelling at linemen. He wasn't doing anything. Next play. Next play. You look at Matty Stafford, he's always like, he's getting up like, oh, guys. He might not be saying it, but he's so extra with his movements. Like, yo, he just did like this to your shoulder. Why are you doing all like that, Stafford? Like, he is so dramatic when he walks up to the sidelines, so he won't say it to the lineman verbally, but he'll do it through his actions. And we're like, yeah, we get it, man. Yeah,
we also,
a little bit.
You also have to think, he played in Detroit for 10 years. That body has been beat up.
It has been beaten to pieces.
He played with a broken back.
Yeah, like, so he has major PTSD. But what I'm saying, though, is like, you're not in Detroit no more, homie. Like, remember you left, bud. Remember? So you still like having nightmares.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though, and this is the biggest stage. We've seen it. Coaching staffs, and this is the difference, all right? So Joe Burrow doesn't get cracked, right? Say Matthew Stafford doesn't. He has a good game, right?
Okay.
The other guy who can and has blown it in big games has his fingerprints on every single part of it. Matthew Stafford only has his fingerprints on the offensive side.
Yes, McVay.
McVay has it on everything, right? So this is another reason why I'm just like, nah, see, pressure situations.
Also this, yes, 2 number 1 overall chosen quarterbacks going head-to-head in the Super Bowl. A rarity.
Yeah.
I want people to know, a rarity.
Super rare.
That does not happen. Here's the difference. Joey Boyband, remember, hadn't lost. His record, his win-loss record in high school, like Pee Wee high school, college was immaculate. This was a guy who only, like, he couldn't remember the last time he had lost before he had gotten into the professional ranks. Matthew Stafford, a little different. Like, he caught some L's at Georgia. He had high expectations, but lost. Never won a national chip, even though, like, he reinvigorated the confidence in Georgia again. Like, they thought he could do well. They saw his potential. Not that he'd done any winning in Georgia to a significant level, but they saw his potential. Drafted number 1 overall. Sent to Detroit. Won some games against some teams that probably shouldn't have beaten. They continued to see his potential because of all his talent. But then they made it to the playoffs once, never realized anything. For years. Now he's gotten on a good team with good players and other good players. Now we've seen some things. He's reverted some steps here and there, but now he has so much talent that they've made it to the Super Bowl. We have a quarterback who this is his first time really being on this ride of winning games in a row, important games in a row, versus a quarterback who has won his entire life.
So,
and has won actually big games.
So,
I would say Joey Boyband is more mentally prepared to play
100%.
this game than the veteran quarterback, Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, 100%. So, you look at these games, especially the Tampa game. That's the big one. So, Tampa and the Rams. It comes down to what looks like Matthew Stafford finally making the big play that they brought a quarterback there to do by hitting Cooper Kupp 43 yards, whatever. That wasn't actually... Yeah, he made the throw. He's got the arm talent to back up and throw it 40 yards. It was one-on-one with the best receiver in football statistically against a Bucs secondary that was suspect all year. Anyway, the Bucs actually blew the call. It was a zero blitz, and more than two people didn't blitz. They stood there, which means the pressure never actually came.
Right.
And the secondary still played it as one-on-one, and it wasn't like...
The type of pressure you would have gotten on the quarterback versus the type of pressure you got, vastly different.
Completely
he had
different.
Time to put it on the money. Whereas if you have people barreling down, you just got to wing that thing.
And that's what he did, and it worked out. So I have yet to see Matthew Stafford win them a game that counts. Aaron Donald's closed out games. You know, this other guy.
Von Miller closed out games.
Closes out games. This other guy.
Jalen Ramsey, closer.
Old Joe Bob Ori over here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This guy closes out games.
Oh, yeah, he does.
He's the one that closes it out. And if it comes down to the kicker, they got the best. They got the new Adam Vinatieri. They got a clutch machine. Yeah. That guy's awesome.
Ready. Like, you don't get rid of that. Like, they know that they have it. Like, their kicker is solidified. The Titans wish they had that. You know what I mean? Like, the Titans really are just, like, 2 players away.
Yeah.
Seriously. The Titans are 2 players away from hoisting the Lombardi.
But those 2 players are the most important in clutch scenarios.
Exactly. Exactly.
Which is why you were able to see New England go on such a retarded run, because they had the 2 most clutch players at that position in history at the most important ones.
Yeah.
Because people forget, so especially the Tuck Rule game, Adam Vinatieri had already missed 2 field goals that game and an extra point. So these weren't like, it wasn't like he never missed. It's just when it counted, he never missed. Mm-hmm. And he knew it. The team knew it. All the fans knew it. The players, the other teams knew it.
The opposing teams know it, which just also
feeds into it.
Yeah, it just feeds the energy into the confidence of the person who has to go see it. They look at the eyes of their opponent, and they haven't even kicked it yet, and you already see the defeat. You just feed off their energy, their defeated little energy.
That's the like the Tiger effect. Like, you knew Tiger was going. We knew it. The Tom Brady effect. If you give Tom Brady,
when he's putting on the red jersey and the Nike hat on Sunday, you already know. You're like, oh shit, here we go.
The Tom Brady effect. If you give this man more than 40 seconds, Aaron Rodgers effect. Go ahead and give him 20 seconds. You're going to lose.
You already knew.
So, my favorite Tom Brady.
The Jordan effect.
Jordan effect. Mike Tyson. Fight's over before you step in the ring. So, my favorite one with Tom Brady on the Tom Brady effect. Falcons up. I think they were up like 18 at this point. Sideline shot of Mohamed Sanu and Taylor Gabriel, I think, talking.
Yeah.
And Mohamed Sanu keeps trying to say, man, they ain't never seen nothing like this before. I could hear the shakiness in his voice. I'm an engineer. I'm 20 years. I heard it. He wasn't sure. Taylor Gabriel's response was, yeah, bro, but they got Tom Brady. Dude, they were already up 18 and about to go up 25, and this guy, even on their sideline, knew Like, they got Tom Brady, though. Fuck.
Because you haven't seen another story. You didn't see the storyline end differently yet. You didn't see it. You know what I mean?
And even when you did, the Eagles was the only outlier because he finished the game with the ball in his hand on a fumble.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
You still looked at it, and then you looked at the stat line and say, wait a minute, he had 505 yards, and they didn't punt once and no field goals, and they still lost?
Right.
Insane.
So you knew it was some other shit. Right.
Yeah, so with Joe Bob Orry, you know the shot's going in. This is who we got. This is Bob Orry. It's going in. Name another player who was only a role player who was just like in crunch time. No. He's getting the ball. He's getting the ball. Mike's taking the shot. Kobe's taking the shot. Steph or Clay.
I mean, unless they've chosen someone else and they get like dubbed, like
Tony Kukoc and Scottie Pippen. Yeah.
Paxton and Kerr got the last second shots because of Michael Jordan.
And they knew, and he knew it. I'm going to give you the ball. I'm getting doubled. Get open. Make the fucking shot. Right?
I mean, Manu Ginobili has had last second heroics. But it's like very few.
Bob Orry.
Yeah, Big Shot Bob. Oh, you had Big Shot Bob, and then you had Chauncey Billups, who's also Big Shot.
Yeah, if you get the name Big Shot, you know what that means. But Bob Orry, this is a role player.
Oh no, he knew, like, as a role player. No, like because you have microwave Vinnie Johnson for the Pistons, but like he was more like, I come in and I get you back in the game. You know what I mean? So like clutch coming off the bench. Now it was Orry.
Hey, yo, Bob, we need somebody to hit a three and, like, win this game. He did it for multiple teams, won 6 titles, like... Seven titles. Will should be in the Hall of Fame because he was crucial to all of those fucking rings.
Yeah.
That guy hit game winners in every single one of the series.
Him and Steve Kerr, like, in the modern era, have the most titles. And Kerr has more than him because then he also started winning as a coach, too.
Yeah, so you look at Steph... The greatest shooter we've ever seen only has...
Steve Kerr in the modern era has more rings than everybody.
Steph only has one last-second game winner in his career.
Yeah, I know. He just did it this year.
Yeah.
But also that speaks to the dominance because they've blown teams out. He's also sat in the fourth quarter.
This is true. But, you know, just the fact that Bob Orry's got, like, fucking an innumerable amount of them. So many. And the one that I hate the most, when he was with the Lakers, the ball fucking got kicked out and he was at the top of the key by himself. Game 7 against the Kings. Game over.
Hurt. I know. Hurt.
That was Chris Webber's.
I wanted that. I wanted that for C. Webb.
That whole team.
The whole team. Bobby Jackson.
Bibby. Peja.
Yeah.
Doug Christie. Vlade Divac. Hedo. Dude, so many of them. That team was so dope.
Gerald Wallace.
Gerald Wallace. See, this is it's that big white dude from Kansas was their backup center.
I see him. He had floppy hair, not Collison.
It's the other big white dude from Kansas.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about.
I know, because then he put his hair in a man bun. I see his face. I just can't think of his name right now.
Yeah, man. But that is also basketball karma for them shipping white chocolate out of town to get Mike Bibby. Shouldn't have done that.
But you know what? To be fair, they had a series one against Utah, and then John Barry did like a little weird celebration, and then Utah came back and won that. Beat them. Like, you don't poke the bear until there's zeros on the clock.
All right, so before we end this, I have a hilarious sports-related story that I just read today. So Shaq, easily one of the funniest people in sports. This guy's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. I don't even watch NBA basketball, but I watch their show with
Inside the NBA.
Yeah, I watch because they're hilarious, right? So, and Shaq actually told...
The best shows on TV.
Yeah, Shaq actually told this story. So this is confirmed. And then a person from one of the zoos actually confirmed this story. So, Shaq says he's been to every zoo in the world. He loves zoos. Been to every zoo in the world. Every time he travels, he goes to the zoos, right? He said, but there's this weird thing that happens when he goes by the gorilla exhibits. That the male gorillas start getting real defensive and acting real fucking weird. And wanting to fight and shit. He said it happens every fucking one that I go to. This is why it's so hilarious, right? So, somebody from, I forget which zoo it was, actually confirmed the story and said, listen, Shaq is so big that they think that he's coming for their women. And the gorillas get defensive over their territory. And they want to fight Shaq.
Oh, man.
There's only one human that could possibly happen to. And I'm glad he has a sense of humor about it because that story is hilarious.
Yeah.
Dude, could you imagine?
It just makes me think of the Locks line. You want to be a monkey, be a gorilla. Like Sheik Luch. It's just, I mean, and there's only one who, like, Shaq. I mean, yeah, I can see how it could be confusing.
So now I have very few bucket list items. I've lived a charm.
Want to go to a zoo with Shaq?
I have to see it in person. I have to see how they react.
Oh, so you want to go to a damn zoo with Shaq? I knew it.
I have to see the silverback, the alpha male, get shook because Shaq is there to take his girl.
And all Shaq's going to do is sick the general on him and give him some great insurance.
Oh, and this ties into the whole Dave Chappelle skit about monkey pussy somehow.
Wow. And that's how we ended. I love that.
Best show in America, people. All right, Hobie, we will definitely be in touch. I was thinking about doing a Super Bowl watch-along, but I am opposed to this because Pat McAfee is also doing a Super Bowl watch-along, and he's probably going to be giving away like $1 million.
Yeah, you probably want to focus on that.
Well, I mean, he's already said, like, we're giving away a ton of shit, so he's already has a budget for himself just to bet $200,000 on various things during the game because he's sponsored by FanDuel.
Yeah.
So he already said he's putting $40,000 up on the fucking coin toss. He put $30,000 up last year and lost. It was hilarious.
Tails.
Yeah.
Am I right?
So
You going tails?
he called tails last
With
year.
all the prop bets, huh?
He called tails last year.
Are you going tails this year?
Of course. He said he's going tails again because it won't be heads twice.
Yeah. You go tails.
So, but anyway, dude, this guy constantly is. That's why I hit you. Like, dude, I hit you with that one link. Like, oh, this guy's giving away. Like, if you guess constantly, you guess the right scores of games, you get put into a pool, and they randomly pick somebody. Here's 20,000.
I know. I get pretty close with these scores. Like pretty damn close.
So they already had one today where they had Colleen Wolfe on, and she guessed the score. And if you took a screenshot of that moment when she guessed the score and then tweeted that, if she gets it right, everyone who went in goes into a drawing. Somebody wins 15,000. This is the types of shit he's doing. So I'm gonna be watching his show.
Yeah, I get it.
He's probably going to be giving away a ton of fucking money, and I would encourage everybody else to because that's what he does. He literally, dude, every day they're like, hey, let's give away like 20 grand to somebody who guesses what I ate for breakfast this morning.
Hey, why not? That can turn into who knows what, that money.
Well, I mean, I've been, after they switched to YouTube, I hit you immediately years ago. Like, dude, you guys thought, this guy's fucking hilarious, and he's from WVU, hilarious. And then when they added AJ Hawk, I was like, wait a minute, this show is incredible. Dude, they just signed a $120 million deal for 4 years to do a show on YouTube.
Wow.
This guy he's just like, yeah, whatever. Thanks, you guys. It's because of you. So, I would encourage you, if you're not out at one of your favorite Irish watering holes, if I know my guy, to be checking on in it because, and then also if you haven't signed up for any New York like DraftKings or FanDuel or anything yet, dude.
Yeah, well,
Dude, do it for the Super Bowl. They're giving away like there's one of them. One of them, a new user in New York, is going to win $1 million in on-site bets.
oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. They're just like,
I'll get in the game. It's like Lotto. You got to be in it to win it. So yeah, I'll get in the game.
well, Rocket Mortgage with Barry Sanders has another one that every single time the score changes, somebody wins $50,000.
Do you think that this will be a game they run it up? I don't see that.
No, I think it's because the Rams' defense is so good that even if they do go up early, it's not going to be by a lot. And then you're going to see
Cincinnati
something.
does enough. Like, even they got run up on early, but then they only gave up 3 points in the second half. Like,
That's what I'm saying. You could see like a 20-17 game
yeah, yeah.
because Joey
I think
Boyband.
it's gonna be nip tuck. I think it's gonna be a nip tuck ass game.
Well, Joey Boyband thrives in games like this where it just does whatever it takes.
He figures it out on the fly. You could see him figuring it out. Even if you go back to LSU days, he faced adversity multiple times during that undefeated season, and he kept figuring it out.
Now,
He kept making it happen.
the entertainment wise, all right, so for super football heads, Patriots Rams Super Bowl, especially if you're a defensive player, it was actually super entertaining. It was dominance on the side of the football that's just not exciting.
Law getting that pick six, like, are you kidding me?
So this one, what I really hope is like 43-40. Just absolute shootout between these two offenses.
Yeah, sure.
Like second half of Patriots and Panthers. Just
And then you could end it with a defensive hero, like, you know what I mean? Like someone just Trey Hendrickson steps up, or an unlikely hero on the Bengals.
Larry Brown gets 2 picks
And
thrown
Larry
by
Brown,
Neil
you know what I'm
O'Donnell.
saying?
So how in the world? And I know Big Ben did make the throw and Santonio made the catch. How in the fucking world did James Harrison not win Super Bowl MVP?
Like when you go back and look at that run, and I've seen that run now, I can't even tell you how many times.
Hundreds.
The Herculean effort it took for him to remain on his feet. I give 2 people props on this one. Him and Larry Fitzgerald. If you only see Larry Fitzgerald one time in your life, and that was the play, you would instantaneously have respect for him forever. He never gave up. He ran the entire length of the field trying to stop this man from scoring a touchdown, who also, how he maintained his balance, and he was a linebacker, not a running back, not someone used to carrying the ball like that, and he made it all the way.
Hurdle, spin, stiff arms.
He did everything. He did it all. Everything. He went everything on the back.
I still and always will. I label that as the most impactful play in Super Bowl history because it was on the goal line at the end of the half. The fucking bell rang as he was running. That's incredible. It's a 14-point swing.
Yeah, if Cardinals score there, we're talking about Kurt Warner in a whole nother light. Larry Fitzy has one. Anquan Bolden has one. Cardinals, the organization is just like they have a different. You talk about them differently. You don't even know what that could have become, right?
Huge, biggest play ever. You could see somebody. I don't see somebody doing something like that, but I don't. Man, I hope it's a shootout. I want like 250 yards from Chase and 17
like,
catches
Wilson,
from Cooper
the
Kupp.
linebacker, I'm saying this kid Wilson is going to have an opportunity because I just feel like the Rams are going to try to bully Cincinnati, and I think that's going to be a mistake.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think the way to get him is to like do what you do, use your speed, use your finesse, anything you do, like do that I think they're gonna try to bully them, and I think that's gonna be not the move.
I could see the dominance of the defensive line and the defensive mindset of let's go physically beat these guys up, which they can and probably will. Also bleeding into the offensive, like you said, they want to establish the run, and like you're right, really trying to like physically dominate when you don't. That's not what you really do, and you don't really need to. Even if you get into a shootout with this other team, you actually have the people to do it. And you have a superior defense who, if it's a shootout, only needs to make 1 or 2 plays. And they're going to. So, you might be right. They might try to, like, over-establish the run. Sean McVay.
That's going to be on McVay.
Overthinking himself again and
because
fucking
of
shit
what
off.
happened in that first joint. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And also because Matty Stafford has been turning the rock over, like give him less attempts, like let's really try to establish this, mitigate mistakes. Feel like you're gonna try to do that and try to bully Cincinnati, and that's not gonna work.
Well, so if you also look at the turnover factor, if Joe Burrow throws a pick, it's typically off of somebody's hands.
Yeah.
Deflected. When Matt Stafford throws some of his picks,
I've
it's
seen him throw to the other team.
literally like Neil O'Donnell style. Oh, shit. All things are pointing to the Bengals, homie, and if it happens, hilarious. Hilarious. Good. Incredible.
Yeah.
This guy is already a megastar, but this will rocket Joey boy band into an absolute another stratosphere. He'll be dating a Kardashian in like 2 weeks, and they don't even like white people.
You know what? OBGYNs, get ready. It's about to be a population spike in Cincinnati.
Who day?
Who day, baby. Who Day Nation is about to explode. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of kids going to be named.
And somebody get extra security for Boomer Esiason, because he going to find himself, if not, he going to find himself butt naked in a crack alley somewhere out in Cincinnati.
Yo,
saying, this was me in 89.
The amount of
If
kids,
he shuffled somewhere.
the amount of white kids that are going to be named Chase after this Super Bowl victory.
Oh, yeah.
Just, dude,
Oh, yeah.
They will reclaim the name Chase back to yuppie whites with cardigans tied around their necks.
Just even listen to the receivers' names: Chase, Tyler, T. Come on, these are layups. These are layup white names. Are you kidding me, Joe? What?
Yo, the frat.
You better hope Uzama doesn't have a great name. Or better hope he doesn't do it.
Oh, man. That's awesome. All right, homie. We will be in touch because it is the Superb Owl. It's been the longest NFL season ever. It's been a long one.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a really long one. But as football heads, especially NFL heads, man, this shit sucks that it's ended.
Yeah.
We will see how the USFL does this year.
I will have to say, though, in terms of playoff games,
Incredible this year.
what we got this year has been unlike what it's been in a lot of seasons.
I don't remember any season having this many games like this.
It's been, and so like when we were talking about before about the league being in good hands, yeah.
Well, so, okay, before we go, so you think of like years in the past, even when we were in like the 90s, there'd be like one game. Buffalo over Tennessee.
Sure.
Tennessee with a throwback.
Yeah.
You know, there'd be like one game where there'd be like, oh my God, that was crazy. Not every single game being one. Divisional round, 4 walk-offs? Are you kidding me?
I know, that's...
4
You
walk-offs?
just don't see that. You just don't... You don't see that.
And then you go into the championship rounds and you get games like this too? Like, I would hope to expect, and I expect nothing less. Because if you have Joe Burrow, you are going to be in the game. That is a guarantee.
Like, this is like boxing promotion couldn't do any better than what these games proved out to be, right?
Yeah.
So if you're trying to match up Mahomes versus Allen or Joey Boy Band versus, you know what I'm saying? Like, these games have proved out who's going to be around, like, who you going to be looking to see meet up in these playoffs for years to come now. You're going to be looking for these matchups, and you're just going to be licking your chops. That's why someone like Lamar can't afford to get hurt. Like, he has to be on, because you see, Mayfield can't afford to, like, have, like, mediocrity. Like, you were chosen number one, son. So this is why you get all the criticism you get, because look at these other cats. Look at what they're doing. Look at how they've changed the dynamic of their teams. Chargers, Bengals. You understand what I'm saying? Look at how they changed the dynamics of their teams already. Josh Allen, the Bills. Are you kidding me? Mac Jones coming. You know what I mean?
So
Mac Jones coming. You know
who?
what I mean? Mac Jones coming. You know what I mean?
So
Griselda, you hear me?
I think you'll see a ripple effect because of this. Because if you look at the hands of the NFL, the future, it's all in the AFC. All the youth, the quarterbacks.
That's where the quarterbacks. Look at even Trevor Lawrence, who's in the lowly Jaguars, but number one overall pick, still high standards for him.
So
high expectations.
You would look for veteran quarterbacks to go land on NFC teams, easier path to the Super Bowl.
This is what I'm seeing. This is what you're seeing.
Tom already did it once. Yeah, I'm going to go down here. I'm going to have to play nobody on this side.
And so we're looking at all. Look at all the aged quarterbacks that we are looking to move maybe to places. Russ, Aaron. You know
I think
what
they
mean?
stay in the NFC.
Where Captain Kirk going? He's gonna stay his ass right there. You know what I mean? Danny Dum Dum, don't nobody want to touch him, with good reason. James Crab Legs gonna stay in the NFC.
Crab Legs will stay in the NFC. You could see
unless he can find his way to Denver.
You could possibly see Tua being moved out.
Somebody's got a quarterback. Washington. Are they gonna trust Heineken?
So this is why the San Francisco job is so appealing, because of the gap in competition from AFC to NFC. Especially if
Justin Fields ready to leave Chicago, or do they have somebody hopscotching right quick, a veteran QB?
So think if you're a GM in the AFC side of things, and you're on a non-successful team. Look at the mountain you have to climb in the AFC for the next 15 years.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? All right, good luck, Davis Webb and the Texans. You're even looking at the Titans with Tannehill, and you're saying to yourself, I'm seeing all the quarterbacks that we lost to or just are in a – Tannehill can't be it unless he just – I don't –
He's not it.
Can't be it. Not with all the talent that the AFC has at quarterback. Not to run that team. I'm sorry. And I love his reclamation. I love how he's like what he's done with his career, but he can't be the quarterback of that team if the Titans hope to win a chip.
Well, so if you look on that side, so Patrick Mahomes has already been responsible for a Super Bowl and can win you one, right?
Yeah.
Justin Herbert,
You saw what he did.
Dude,
we all saw what he did.
We saw what he did. Even Lamar Jackson, he has to make the plays.
Yeah.
Right? He has to. It's him or nobody. Joe Burrow, he's the fucking man, right? Tannehill is not. He doesn't make those plays. Because in the modern day NFL, it does come down to the quarterback is going to have to fucking make some plays. You can't, if you're down fucking 24 points, you can't just keep handing it to Derrick Henry and be like, oh, we'll chip it away.
See what Josh Allen did? Played a fucking still lost.
So you also look at the Titans, Tannehill's inability to win them games. He also lost that game.
Yeah, he lost it. You're not supposed to lose that game with that amount of time left. You have the ball. You don't lose that game. At home, you win that. And you just got your horse back? Are you insane? You don't lose. You can't lose. You just can't.
So I guess we will all be Bengals fans for one night. All right, homie, we'll be in touch.
Know what it is?
All right, everybody. Yeah, I'm going to go get some food.